What is going on, everybody? It is episode 197 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
What is up, Crisis Actors? It's Mary. We missed you over our Labor Day weekend, and I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed yours.
Did you have a good couple of days off?
I did, and I watched Bullet Train. I loved it.
I saw it
Highly
too.
recommend. I do wish we reviewed it at the time that it came out, though, because it was outstanding.
But somebody had to go out of town on vacation. I hate it when that happens. I hate it when
Wait,
that
no, I was in town. I
Was it?
swear.
No,
I swear I was in town.
I think it was like right. Maybe it was like
No,
right when you were leaving.
we planned to go review it, but I don't know. The plans just fell through.
Something happened.
But from a person who doesn't generally like action movies, I loved it because it still had just as complex of a plot, and also a lot of the action scenes did not involve guns, which I think gunfire in movies doesn't exactly hit the same as hand-to-hand combat. It was really entertaining.
Excellent. And we have a guest host who was not there at the movie. Did you introduce yourself, sir?
Hello, everyone. It's just little me, Dane Font here, marketing man extraordinaire.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. And the patron saint of White Boy Summer. And I also saw Bullet Train this weekend.
Okay,
You did?
you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
When?
Maybe
Maybe we were in the same theater. And we didn't
Sunday.
know.
I was at the warehouse.
Oh, I was yesterday.
Okay, there we go. But I saw it. It was really good.
Yeah.
Honestly, the spoilers. The most hilarious part is that I saw it because my girlfriend loves Bad Bunny, and he dies instantly.
Yeah, he did. It was funny because he had such a long backstory,
Oh my god.
but then no story in the film at all.
That was I was like, this guy's too much of a wimp to carry an action movie. And I was right.
I loved Joey King in the movie as the prince.
Oh yeah, she was
She
great.
was amazing. I loved her character.
Bad Bunny is working with WWE now too. He's like
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's
He wasn't half bad as an actor.
No, he apparently can. He's kind of like whatever one of the Paul brothers also does professional wrestling. I think that's Jake Paul that does.
Both
Logan.
of them. Both of them
What?
do MMA.
No, one of them's doing WWE pro wrestling.
I think it's Logan.
And he
Okay, yeah.
Bad Bunny did his own match that actually ended up being fairly good, at least in the realm of rating celebrities who try to wrestle, which is him. He did pretty good. And then Logan Paul, or whichever Paul brother, did pretty good as well.
Must have been Logan.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about the fallout from the Rings of Power, which was always going to be something that they were going to have to contend with, given the way they went about marketing this project. And I think we'll have a fairly unbiased perspective on this, given that we had a more neutral take on this show than a lot of other people did. We're also going to talk about another A-plus example of how to not market your product, which is the marketing ploy for Don't Worry Darling, Olivia Wilde's newest movie to flop. I'm predicting that because it hasn't actually come out yet. That would be my guess. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Kanye going nuts on social media. Oh, that's not fair. Kanye going wild on social media. Going nuts seems to have a negative connotation. He had a lot to say about. He's
Brett,
not crazy.
Why not Kanye speaking his truth?
Because the term "my truth" is blasphemous and stupid. But we're also going to do that. We're going to do Podluck. We're going to do a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. Mary, are we ready?
We're ready. I feel like we have a whole marketing day today, which is great for having the marketing man extraordinaire on.
Dane, marketing man, are you ready?
Extraordinarily so.
Okay. All right. Then let's get right into it. So it says Lord of the Rings basically had an incredibly good first day. Scores record ratings for Amazon Prime Video. In that it had $25 million viewers for its premiere, which is insane when you really think about the servers it would require to actually to house that. So it says Lord of the Rings of Power premiere last Thursday scored record viewership ratings for Amazon Prime Video. The streaming service had reported that 2 episodes were watched by more than 25 million people in its first day, which spanned 240 countries and territories across the world.
Are they saying they retained 25 million to the second episode?
I don't know. They don't. I think what they're saying is between the two, it equals out to 25 million.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, that's kind of cheating,
so
but impressive nonetheless.
yeah, it's a lot still.
Yes.
That's still a very high number. So it says the service reported the first 2 episodes were watched by. Okay, so it says it is somehow fitting that Tolkien's stories, among the most popular of all time and what many consider to be the true origin of the fantasy genre, have led us to this proud moment. Remember that article we covered a while back where we said that they were going to make this they were going to say it was successful no matter what.
Yeah. The marketing ploy is it's a big success regardless of the ratings.
Doesn't matter.
Now they've even suspended their rating system.
Yes.
The biggest mistake I see in this is that they failed the show with the marketing for it, and then now that people have actually had the chance to watch it, it's not half bad. And then they sabotaged the ratings for it, so they're going to get a bunch of bad reviews from people who haven't watched it or people who were automatically poisoned against it because of their marketing ploys.
They had a really intrusive marketing tactic. If you have a smart TV, when you turn it on, if a Hulu account, if Amazon.
Well, it's an Amazon product. Yeah, if
Right.
you opened it, it immediately went to.
But if you turn the TV on, not even clicking the app. If you
Yep.
turn the TV on, it says like Rings of Power. That's, like, dude.
That's to me, that's the least offensive of their marketing attempts for this. That's
I mean,
just
I
that's
think it's-
intrusive, but not offensive.
I think it's almost offensive to the people who made the show, saying that it can't succeed on its own merits. It has to be intertwined with all of this social messaging, and it has to be artificially propped up. I think it was good enough to succeed on its own. And there are a lot of Lord of the Rings fans who didn't mind it, at least. They didn't dislike it. I don't think it was outstanding, like, on its own, if you're thinking of it as an addition to the canon of that universe. But what I'm seeing it for is, like, basically high quality, high production value fan fiction. And on that, if you're thinking of it that way, they did a good job. It's a good show.
I
Brett,
do
you said-
not believe that it has the ability to stand on its own as a Lord of the Rings
No,
property.
no,
I
I
believe that
definitely
it would
don't.
have what it takes to stand on its own as a generic 90s-esque fantasy series, but that's not worth $1 billion.
No. And
It's
I
not.
didn't even see where the money was being spent on it. Like,
You said
that's an
some-
insane amount.
You said something in your review that I didn't understand until you said it. I had the feeling of like something's missing here, but I didn't know how to quite express it. The show is missing an incredible star power.
Yes.
Because it's super highly produced and it's very well scored in some senses. By the way, I've only caught glimpses when I've seen other people watch it. And you get these like dramatic music moments that it's like a freaking nobody.
They casted relatively nobodies.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe they thought we'll allocate that big budget to the special effects and the sets and costuming, which weren't bad at all. It didn't look cheap, but it definitely didn't look like $500 million worth.
Nope.
And then they also spent like the equivalent of half that budget on just the rights to the show, to make the show alone.
$250 million.
Yikes.
That's more than half of what they spent on the show.
Yep. I do want to point out that they do now have a process in order to prevent reviews from getting through, which says in its existence confirmed by Variety from an Amazon representative on September 2nd, after users of all opinions toward the series noticed that their criticisms were not being automatically listed under the Rings of Power. The company's new system now requires 72 hours to pass after a film series premieres before users can leave its feedback. According to the trade news outlet, if a review is left within the first 3-day window, each critique is then evaluated to determine whether it's genuine or a forgery created by bot, troll, or other breed of digital goblin.
That's crazy that they only say critique, because positive reviews can be bots too.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I'm also going to point out that when the people in charge of this decide what is and what is not critique or criticism,
Right.
I have a sneaking suspicion that we all know exactly which ones will be labeled bot, goblin, or whatever else their cutesy language was
And-
trying to convey.
What if it's not a bot? If it's a genuine review that's negative, it's mixed with things they think are invalid criticisms and valid ones.
Yep.
They're just going to paint with a broad brush and throw it out. And it's so censorious, and it's embarrassing for the people who made it that they can't openly receive criticism on what they made.
The issue with this is like it's half a good idea. Because I kind of agree with the fact of perhaps putting a 72-hour window for any review.
That's a long time.
It's a
though.
long time.
Well, let's just say 48 or 24.
First of all, that gives them the chance to get their product out there without any pushback through its largest marketing period, right?
Well, if they do a big stinker, then,
No,
they
that means
have
that
to hold it
people-
even more.
That means that people have to watch it without being able to comment on it, which would normally prevent people from watching it if it's crap. It's the same thing that they do when a movie comes out, right? When a new film is coming out for release, they have what are called basically holds on reviews. So you're embargoed and you're not allowed to release your review until a certain time. The better a movie is, the farther out they allow the embargo to be lifted. So a good movie will have a 2 week and will be left off the embargo 2 weeks early. So you have 2 weeks of reviews, which give people a chance to decide whether they want to go see this movie or not. If a movie is really crappy, that embargo goes all the way up until the point of release because they want to make sure as few people as possible get a chance to see those negative reviews and hopefully stave them off from watching the product.
But all of the early reviews for Rings of Power were, of course, because they're early access, extremely positive. Mm-hmm. And I think this 72-hour hold on viewership being able to review the show is censorious and unfair because it's essentially saying like only the news outlets with credibility get to speak on the merits of this work.
Yeah, because they know that those are the ones that are going to walk in lockstep with what
and
they
ordinary
believe.
people are not allowed to do the same thing.
Okay, so if I could just give a little example as to why. So I don't like the fact that they pick which reviews they like and which ones they don't like. But I just want to give an example of why I somewhat agree with this in a way. So I'm into gaming, as you guys know, and there's a lot of Discords for games. And there is one for a specific game I play called Master Duel that it charges, I think it's $5 a month or a Twitch subscription that you can have the Amazon subscription. And in that particular Discord, you can have the best conversations about strategy and about actual, tactics. Whereas all the other ones, they're all essentially lowest common denominator memes. And there is something to be said about putting a little bit of a barrier of entry between the review, be it, or the content and the person. But if it were just like...
Does that game live and die by the numbers it gets upon its premiere?
But the barrier to entry for reviewing Rings of Power is that you're paying Amazon. You already are a paying customer for Amazon Prime. That's the barrier to entry, I think.
But wouldn't you agree that right now, the way the world is, everyone is divided on the side, and a bunch of people gave this a negative review without watching it?
I believe that just as many people
true.
gave a good review without watching it. Because,
really?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if it's just as much. I think they really went heavy with the marketing, and it was terrible, and it did a disservice to the show because upon watching it, we did find out that it at least it wasn't bad. It was average or maybe slightly above average.
I would say average as a show, bad as an adaptation of someone's work.
A lot of people, I think, were deliberately propagandized to hate the show because it would encourage like hate watching and just generally more attention on it. So yeah, I think there were possibly more negative reviews from people who didn't watch it than positive.
The best thing you can do in this respect, especially for any type of hyper partisan TV show, it's weird to call it partisan, but it is a weirdly partisan
Sadly,
issue.
that's something that you have to consider.
Would be to negate and always ignore the 1s and the 10s or the 1s and the 5s if it's a 5-star rating system, and go by the stuff that falls closer to the middle. Is where you'll find actual intelligent reviews. But in the end, people don't read these reviews anyways. It really is just a marketing means. And this started back when television shows and movies started using Rotten Tomatoes fresh rating as a marketing tool, right? They would put that the show was certified fresh, the movie was certified fresh on their branding to let you know that it was a product worth watching. Okay.
And what we were talking about earlier is that I don't think there is big competitor to Rotten Tomatoes in that sense, because if you come up with an alternative place where people can review and not be censored, then the clientele it attracts will be more like they will be skewed or biased in a certain direction. because they
thing you
can't
can do
voice
is-
their opinions on Rotten Tomatoes, right?
The best thing I think you can do is use IMDb. Seems to have a more honest review system for their. They seem to fall closer to the middle, and a lot of people like Cinema Score as opposed to Rotten Tomatoes. But we're not even talking about Rotten Tomatoes here. We're talking about Amazon's actual reviews of the show on Amazon. So they also rolled this out early for a League of Their Own premiere, which was, of course, something that never needed to be made in the original A League of Their Own, never needed to be improved upon, but what have you. They also spent $50 million, 50 million British pounds per episode. I don't know what that equals out to in US dollars. I think it was like 57
If
million.
it's
Probably a
euros, then it's
McDouble.
about equal.
No,
Not sure about pounds though.
I think it's British pounds. So somebody could let us know. So $50 million an episode. And I really do think that money could have gone to hiring better actors. Toss Galadriel off the side of the ship.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to bring up your hatred for Galadriel again because I brushed upon this in the episode where we reviewed it, but I guess you didn't catch my point totally. A man saved her life. Mm-hmm. The man she was with on the raft. What was her name? What was his name?
I had it up here. The character's name was
played by Charlie Vickers.
Halbrand.
Halbrand was the man that he's like a human running from his past. Their destinies intertwine. But anyway, she falls into the water and he saves her life. I was saying,
yes, he does.
That's an example that I can point to where she is not the Mary Sue or the stony, invincible character that you are criticizing.
I did not say she was
her for
invincible.
being.
I said that it wasn't believable, and I said she's a charisma vacuum.
Okay, an example that does support what you were saying is when the snow troll, or was it like a snow goblin,
she cut all its
came
joints,
out of
she stabs without looking at it. That was bad too.
All of the other elves fail completely to fight this snow troll, and she does it single-handedly in front of all of them and jumps up on a sword to attack it. That definitely could have been portrayed as a team effort, but they wanted to make Galadriel the awesome solo hero in that one.
My criticism isn't her being overpowered. My criticism is she's unlikable and she has no charisma while performing the role she was given. I just don't like the character.
Do you think Cate Blanchett did a better job of seeming warm and sociable?
I don't know if that's necessarily it. I know that I buy Cate Blanchett as a better actress than this lady.
Because in the timeline, maybe it makes more sense that closer to the period where she experienced the most trauma, that she would be more weathered and disillusioned than she is later on, thousands of years later.
I just don't like that character.
I'm just gonna fight against your hatred for Galadriel, no matter what.
That will.
But I do still. I favor Nori.
Yep.
Overall.
Nori and Bronwyn all the way.
Not Bronwyn.
Yes, Bronwyn.
Just Nori.
Nope, Bronwyn too.
You just think that Bronwyn's hot.
I do. The actress is va-va-voom, as they say.
Va-va-voom.
So beyond that, so we're looking at the scores here. It has since risen. I almost said Rosen. 39% audience score to 20,310 reviews. To me, 20,000. Now I could be wrong. That seems extremely low, which tells me
for 25 million
for Tolkien. Yes.
I don't know. A lot of people just turn something on and they don't really care what it is, right?
I don't think you watch.
And a lot of the people watching it are not familiar with the Peter Jackson films or the books.
What qualifies as a view as well? Is it if you click on it?
We don't know about watch time. You're right.
Watch time is Netflix, and a lot of them advertise by watch time, minutes watched. They did the same thing with Reacher. They advertised it by, or I'm sorry, not Reacher, by The Terminalist. They advertised by however many billion minutes of watch time that it accrued, and that's a very common one. I don't know if they use Samba TV for that, but I think Disney does. We'll probably get more information for that as it comes out. But the sad fact is you're never going to know. They could make up any number.
Right.
But they have all the numbers and they safeguard them so that they can cleverly twist them around for marketing purposes.
Yeah. And
if you knew the total number of viewers, period, that clicked on it, and the minutes watch time, then you could average out how long did people watch this before clicking it off.
A lot of the complaints I saw was people just being bored. For me, I like putting stuff on in the background. I had to rewatch. I watched 2 shows this weekend. Which, by the way, since I'm being a downer right now, I'm going to give you 2 shows that you should go and watch right now. One is Whitechapel. Which was at least the very first season of Whitechapel, which is a very interesting telling of a police department in modern day Whitechapel in the UK looking for a Jack the Ripper copycat killer. What it lacks in actual coherent story, it makes up extremely well for in atmosphere and made for TV violent, like gore, not violence, but gore. It's very unapologetic in the images it shows, and it's very, very good. And you should also watch Shetland, which is, I believe, Scottish. It's either Scottish or Irish. You have a very hard time understanding what any of them say most of the time, but if you put the subtitles on, it is really, really good. And what it lacks in positivity, it makes up for in atmosphere and ambiance, meaning that you feel like you're in this small town. And both of those, which were operating on a far smaller budget and were TV shows back in the early 2010s, I would ask you to watch that before you watch the new Lord of the Rings. That is my personal
Have you
opinion.
continued watching The Patient?
I watched the episode last night, but not closely enough to review. You'd have to watch it. I'd have to watch it again to review.
And how do you think Rings of Power did atmosphere-wise? The ambiance.
It feels empty and bland to me, but that's because it's mostly CGI. That's because it's all CGI. The 2 shows that I just mentioned use almost no computer-generated imagery at all. You just happen to film in this beautiful location for the show for Shetland, and for the other one, it's filmed almost entirely at night. And it's very dark and grimy and dirty, and it's supposed to fit that tone, right? So they do a better job of translating what they were trying to portray from camera to audience better than I believe Rings of Power does. But that's because Rings of the Power... I understand these aren't like one-to-one comparisons.
Yeah.
They're not the same genre. They're not the same type of show. They're definitely not in the same scope. But I'm just saying that if a lot of the people watching these this podcast are going to say they're not watching it because they don't feel that they marketed the show properly, they feel that it's an embarrassment to Tolkien's work, I would recommend those 2 shows, which are both, I believe, on Hulu. So Whitechapel and Shetland is on BritBox, which is easily my new favorite streaming service.
Sounds dangerously close to Chetland, and that would be an incredible show.
Shetland would be even better.
Imagine.
But BritBox is my new favorite. Yes, and all UK shows.
Only on Walmart Plus.
Wouldn't that be great? Right?
It will.
Shetland would be all on. All
look
on
at me.
Walmart
It
Plus.
will.
It will.
I'm betting everything on Walmart Plus.
So, and if you were worried about somebody with a voice of importance criticizing Rings of Power, Elon Musk said that Tolkien is currently rolling over, turning in his grave because of how bad he thought.
Hey, I just want to say, I said that first. Elon Musk is totally copying me.
He's following you. He's
Lydia's bestie.
He's probably got a sock account that he uses to follow you. Mm-hmm. When you're like somebody of that scale, like
he's one of the super chatters.
That would
for
be
sure.
Amazing. But when you think about it, like when you reach that level of fame, who you follow actually becomes kind of a commodity. So you have to have sock accounts so that you can follow the weird people.
Right.
Well, like they go through and they find celebrities and they look for. Remember after like
that's lame though. If they generally like you, but their opinion
they're
is that
so they won't follow.
Remember after Rittenhouse got off and he was like he got his Twitter account back and he was liking nothing but
porn stars,
but porn. Yes,
it's kind of charming to not understand the internet to that degree.
At 18, yes. Well, he's like I don't care. It's fine. But basically, to me, this is more. I'm still happy to review the show. I'm happy to hate on Galadriel all the way up until episode 8. I am also happy to have her change my mind. I am not so close-minded that she can't change my mind. I do believe that her being not being completely overpowered and getting saved by the one dude is a sign in the right direction. But I don't think that the backstory they've given that character and the way she's portraying it lends itself to getting better. I think it only lends itself to getting worse. That's just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. I am happy to review it. Maybe we do it as a Podluck segment since we can't expect
all of our guests to know.
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't mind. Like it's like they ask the questions that not everyone else wants to. Plus, a lot of the people in the chat are talking about like the they're happy we're watching it, so they don't have to. So maybe our guests can be like, oh, thank gosh, you're watching it so that I don't have to be the one to watch that show. So.
I think that what differentiates us from the extremes on both ends, the extremely positive reviews and extremely negative, is that neither of us are intense fans of Lord of the Rings, and neither of us are ideologues who wanted it to accomplish some kind of social agenda for us.
But that's even better, though.
Give up on that. That's never going to happen.
Of course.
Not in the way that I would like to see these things go. That's never going to happen.
Because although Lord of the Rings ideologues that I know on Facebook, all they do is criticize it nonstop and then be like 9 out of 10.
Yeah, but
it's like
what?
It's like it's abysmal. The acting's horrible. The scenery, they're not respecting the lore. 9 out of 10. And I'm like, how is everything you said congruent with your review?
People who overlap in both groups, like the big fans of Lord of the Rings who were expecting a lot, and
don't want to get called out for criticizing.
Who don't want to seem like they have the wrong reasons for disliking it.
Yeah, basically.
That's crazy.
I think basically they want this to be the new Fast and Furious, our favorite movie. And
why?
Because they just want to keep their content.
Okay.
You know, there's like a
Yikes.
brand of Star Wars fans. They just want their stupid Star Wars slop all the time. It's like, oh my god, the lightsabers, and they just want it all the time. And there's that breed of people that like Lord of the Rings. I don't understand either, you know, but they just want the content to keep on coming.
Elon Musk says almost every male character so far is a coward, a jerk, or both. He obviously hasn't been watching much TV at all because that's how every male character is on TV now.
I don't think that's even true.
I don't which character what? I mean...
how is Arendir fitting into that description?
He's the one character that's not, right?
How's Durin fitting that description?
He might not have made it to episode 2.
You know, I don't think that's valid.
Durin and his wife were like my favorite part of it, but that's because they weren't in any type of battle or anything. I just enjoyed the relationship between the husband and the wife, and then the other character.
I understand why you'd say that maybe about Elrond.
They
trying to convince, or any of the men trying to convince Galadriel to turn back, or telling her to not go forward and criticize the king. Those are important male characters.
But I want to point out also that this show could have also just not been Lord of the Rings and been fine, but it would never get that budget.
They can't piggyback.
So they lose either way. And here's the other question: do you honestly believe that this will retain its viewership? I do not.
25 million?
I don't believe it retains its viewership. I think it ends up... I think that House of the Dragon ends on a far higher note than this show does.
Apparently that last episode was a banger.
House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah. The first 2 were rated like 8.8, I believe, and the last one's like a 10 or something.
People are saying like Matt Smith deserves like an Oscar or like an Emmy for his portrayal in that one. He doesn't have any lines. All I'm saying is like there's a lot more goodwill for the House of the Dragon right now. The Jeremy Jahns, who is known for being very, very, very fair in his reviews and also being like a sort of man of the people, despised the Lord of the Rings, but this one, because it's all the same. They're rating it based on the disrespect it's showing to Tolkien's work, not on its own merits as a show. But they shouldn't have to make that distinction. That's not on the reviewer to make that distinction. That's on the studio to do that, and they're not willing to do that. So that's my problem with it. Let's
go to super chats. Hobbit said, "No die, we die."
I have not reached there. There is no reason.
We need 15 crisis parties.
There's
guys.
no reason for me to die yet.
I want him to bleach his hair just as much as you all do, but we have to keep it fair and to the rules. I need to stop watching YouTube. Said 7-Eleven was a part-time job.
That's the best super chat yet.
I saw you laughing at that, so I was like, let me peep what someone said. St. Miles said, was bored this weekend and took a chance on watching Rings. It was okay, but reeked of diversity and inclusiveness. Special effects, costuming, low budget. Good thing I had 3 beers. I don't think it appeared low budget, and I don't think they overdid it with the diversity stuff.
Just by casting alone, they do.
It's episode 1.
Of course, yeah. I know that they viewed it that way, and I think that multiplicity is totally awkward and out of place. Yes.
I had the article pulled up that we ended up not covering about the actor who's like they just don't want to see black elves, and I'm like, as long as these actors are still making these comments, they will lose. because, and we're going to talk about it later, for all the lack of excitement I have around Lord of the Rings, around just the idea that it's okay, there's 10,000 gigawatts of positivity I have towards Tom Cruise and his truly inclusive approach to film marketing.
Which we will get into later. Bad App said, I review PCC with 5 Roberto Juniors up.
5 Roberto Juniors.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a lot of Roberto Juniors.
St. Miles said, after 2 more beers, I also watched a movie from Russia, I Am Dragon, Russian version. If it wasn't for the good looks of the main characters, I would have had 2 more beers. RF Tass of Stet said, yeah, I'm not going to watch a show that was poorly marketed, and how blatantly they disregarded both the lore and the fans.
They didn't just disregard the lore. They did so with glee.
Yeah, they reprimanded them.
And happiness. And the sad fact is all of the people making those claims would have hated Tolkien if he were still alive. So it is a form of cultural subversion and a weird form of appropriation that we're just trying to be more fair with our presentation of our review of it. It doesn't mean I have any respect for the way they've marketed this or the disrespect they've shown Tolkien or the lore.
Brett, you know what's funny? I have this opinion that marketing or an advertisement before the digital age, it was all just smoke and mirrors. It was all a bunch of BS. No one really knew who was watching what.
You didn't have the data.
Right. The only real measure of success you would have is sales and people, if it's an event, people showing up. Mm-hmm. But digital marketing changed all that to where you can measure all sorts of things. You can measure views, you can measure clicks, you can measure conversions, all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like I've been working on this field for about 10 years now. And I've never, ever, ever seen the tactic of reprimanding your customer base work. Not even once.
They will continue to try. It is hilarious.
It's insane
to try. My favorite part of it is that it's a built-in shield against criticism, the same way bots and trolls, unpersoning the people that criticize you and labeling them as bots and trolls does. At the very least, I'm willing to engage with the people that see something differently than me. And to be fair, me and Mary don't agree on all things we watch, at least to varying degrees. But if you're not at least willing to acknowledge that the people who believe differently than you might have a point, then you're not actually creating something to be judged. You're creating something that's supposed to be worshipped without any pushback. And
you know what brand did
sit well with people? What
brand did that was Sonic. When the original Sonic came out, it was an absolute disgusting dumpster fire, to the point where some people were tinfoil hatting and being like, no, they released this ugly version because eventually they're going to release a good looking one, and they willed it into existence. And apparently the movie wasn't half bad from what I've heard. And
the director was very gracious and said, we took your critiques to heart and we're going to make changes.
And imagine that it worked.
That takes a lot of, I understand that takes a lot of swallowing of pride and ego.
But possibly because it was an anthropomorphic character, it was easier to set aside the ordinary reaction, which is hatred for the fan base.
Yes. So, and that director, with all the grace that he showed, built up an audience to the point where the sequel was even better than the original. All of these companies could take a lesson from the marketing of Sonic and the behavior of both not the stars, but of the director of that film, who has been gracious in success, similar to the way that kind of, what would be another example of a film that actually, I can't think of an example recently where they've done that well. Most of it is antagonistic marketing. You could say Keanu Reeves, who says, like, I'll play John Wick as long as they want me to. He doesn't have a pretentious ego about playing a role that's popular. He's happy to do so because he knows people like the character. And people like it when people are authentic with them, or at least perceived to be authentic with them.
Well, this isn't a film, but in terms of video games, so, as I've said on the show before, Street Fighter V was a massive failure. It brought upon COVID and censorship and all sorts of evils onto the world just because of how bad it was. Oh. You can quote me on this. Okay. And so Street Fighter 6 is releasing in the near future, and Capcom is basically all their marketing around it is like, we know that Street Fighter V was a massive dumpster fire on a dumpster fire. Like, we're aware. we're going to address these issues. Thank you for being fans of the show, regardless of, fans of the game, regardless of our setbacks. We're working on improving it. And people are, they're giving them a chance again. So, man, a little bit of honey, a little bit of sugar makes the medicine go down. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we're going to get into it even more with Olivia Wilde and the pretentiousness of Hollywood.
Shards of Narsil said, watch The Expanse instead. Awesome dark sci-fi. I actually watched the pilot episode of The Expanse the other day, and from what I saw, it was actually pretty interesting. So, yeah, I would say recommend. Oblivid Dan said, I was surprised my friends hated Rings of Power. We're friends, but they have seriously incredibly bad taste. If Amazon can't even please them, Rings of Power is in trouble.
Yeah?
Yeah, you've got to be able to please a mainstream audience.
Well, that's...
keep them entertained. You can't just... It seemed they're relying on the first episodes to hook people in, and then the quality of the episodes is going to go downhill from there when you need to step it up each episode.
Yep.
Which seems to be what House of the Dragon is doing.
Yep.
And another difference is House of the Dragon, the author of that world is still alive and is generally supportive of what they're doing, whereas Tolkien explicitly asked, I found this out this weekend because I was listening to a podcast with a Tolkien scholar. He explicitly said, like, he never wants Lord of the Rings to be adapted in cinema.
Yep.
And, as positive of an outlook as you want to have, you are still spiting him very clearly, and you need to have a proper defense for that.
There was a funny Babylon Bee meme this weekend that said, like, Rotten Tomatoes realizes all negative reviews are written by someone named Peter Jackson, and, like, all of the letters are spelled with numbers. Peter Jackson.
I'm surprised Peter Jackson has been so gracious also to being shut out of talks.
Yep. Well, they did the same thing to George Lucas when he offered a script. He offered them a 3-part script for the sequel
trilogy. Did they
trilogy.
ask for his input?
Basically what it was, like, after he sold them the rights to Star Wars, he still gave them, like, an outline, and they just took it and they threw it in the trash.
Did they ask him for it, or did he just kind of offer that?
If I remember correctly, they asked for it initially, and then everything changed hands, and then
that's what they did with Rings of Power. They asked Peter Jackson for his contributions to writing the script, and then ghosted him. It's like, why are you even reaching out in the first place if ultimately you're going to cast them out of the decision-making process? Gross John said, Lord of the Women's was better than I expected, at least good enough to continue watching. Pretty good, not great.
That seems to be the best way of describing it. It's just meh. It's
pretty good and not
enough
great.
to keep watching. I'm not the biggest fan of Game of Thrones. I've stuck out the first 2 episodes. I haven't watched 3 yet, but I would rather watch Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Even if I'm not necessarily enjoying it, it's fine. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't be shooting for it's fine. You should be looking if you're going
to live up or exceed.
If you're going to spend $57 million an episode, you should be shooting for far higher than it's fine.
Live up to or exceed the films, or just don't try at all.
Oh, also, I meant to point that out, that this is also, by the way, the lowest rating of the entire trilogy of all the films. This is the lowest rating
any of them have ever gotten.
Yes.
Yeah.
None of them have ever gotten anything.
But that's unsurprising, though. Even if it was decently good, I doubt it would ever beat the movies. The movies won a bunch of Oscars, didn't they?
95 tomato meter, 95 audience score for The Two Towers. Fellowship of the Ring is 91 tomato meter, 95 audience score. And then Return of the King, 93 tomato meter, 86 audience
I meant
score.
to mention that in the Fellowship, there was a scene very similar to when they were fighting that snow troll that I think it was, I forget which characters it was, but it was similar enough that people on Twitter were, like, comparing those scenes directly parallel to each other.
Yeah.
And were like, why are they just copying the movies entirely if they want to act like this is a completely separate work? I don't think it's totally copying, but it is derivative, and if you're going to do something derivative of the movies, include the filmmaker.
Yep. let's save the rest, and then we'll move on to Olivia Wilde, and then we'll continue on.
We're being rather verbose today.
Yes, we're gonna move on. So it says, this is what I want to talk about with "Don't Worry, Darling" is basically plain and simple. If you were looking for like a master class in how to turn your marketing for your like kind of lame movie into an absolute disaster, this is the master. This is the master class. Okay?
Basically, Olivia Wilde is blowing up in a bad way, blowing up the promotion of "Don't Worry, Darling," and it's hilarious to watch because she's just such an insufferable person.
She's so insufferable.
Florence Pugh is not that much better.
But she's staying quiet at least for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you lead this. Basically, the idea here is they were seen at the Venice Film Festival, and there's a hilarious video where Florence Pugh will look at anyone but Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde got called out for lying about Shia LaBeouf getting fired from the movie when she actually kind of came to him almost on bended knee and asked him to stay around.
Shia LaBeouf leaked a video in response of Olivia Wilde sent to him that was basically begging him to stay on the film and be able to work it out with who she called Miss Flo,
which
Florence
is the most
Pugh.
condescending thing I've ever heard an adult call someone.
Yes, she clearly has some kind of personal beef with Florence Pugh, whether that's on both sides or if it's just one-sided, we can't know for sure. But it obviously was a way to condescend to her, to call her Miss Flo like that behind her back. And then Shia LaBeouf he was only forced into releasing that video because it was framed like he was fired.
For being dangerous.
Yeah, in reality, he had to quit, and it was because the rumor says Florence Pugh did not want to work with him because of his allegations of abuse from FKA Twigs, which we were talking about the other week, actually.
One thing I find funny about all this is Olivia Wilde talks extensively in the past interviews how she believes that getting to the best performance that she can get out of her actors is to create a safe and inclusive and healthy work environment.
While she begs behind the scenes for an alleged abuser, I'm not saying he's guilty, but an alleged abuser to stay on her project when a female on her set who is the star of the film is asking not to work with this man.
There's not an ounce of real...
Stand for what you believe in.
There's not an ounce of honesty or truth amongst these people. Yeah. It is all a facade that is designed to make them look like the greatest people on earth, on top of looking like pretentious art nerds, which is almost worse.
Two of the craziest parts... Olivia Wilde originally planned to play Alice, the housewife who Florence Pugh is playing, but she decided that she wasn't fit for the role. She wanted someone younger. So, I mean, Olivia Wilde is 38 and Florence Pugh is 26. She brought in Florence Pugh to play that role. And then once Shia LaBeouf was off of the project, she recast her boyfriend, Harry Styles, who she allegedly was cheating on her fiance, Jason Sudeikis, with, also the father of her 2 children, by the way, who served her legal papers while she was on stage exhibiting Don't Worry, Darling at CinemaCon.
That was incredible.
By the way.
I've used the picture of her in that situation in all the thumbnails out of pure spite for the way Olivia Wilde acted.
Was it in a Comic-Con or something?
At a CinemaCon. And people were like applauding her because they were like, they emotionally ambushed you, queen. You handled it so well.
I want to point out that her behavior is, for somebody who's claiming to be different from the past of Hollywood, she's acting exactly like Hollywood.
Yeah, and she, even in the Variety interview that I was watching earlier, with you here, Brett, she was talking about how women used to direct films all the time in the silent film era. And then we went backwards, mid 20th century. Gee, I wonder why.
This all reeks of Jussie Smollett likeness.
Really?
Yeah, because it keeps and now that you tell me about these leaks from Shia LaBeouf,
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna let people watch the clip of. Keep talking.
I kind of lost my track of my... Yeah, okay. So I kind of got the feeling from the beginning because Shia LaBeouf right now, he's really trying to rebrand himself. I think he saw a movie that inspired him to be Christian.
Well, he's making the movie. He's starring as a Catholic saint in Padre Pio. So we talked about that on the show.
Yep.
He's
rebuilding his own image.
He's going to be on trial for sexual battery in April, but he's also releasing this film.
Let's look at this video real quick, where you'll see Olivia Wilde to the left, and she'll literally look anywhere but at Olivia Wilde, which is the most hilariously
They were seated
like,
3 people apart. They didn't make eye contact the entire time. And also, it said that Florence Pugh left the standing ovation, which was 4 minutes long, which is a huge yawn. She left the room before it was even over.
This is the person she's defending.
Yes, I want to point out that if I was to give Olivia Wilde credit for one thing here, it would be that at the very least she's trying to appear a bit diplomatic with her relationship with Pugh.
So there was this video where they were at the press conference for Don't Worry Darling at the film festival, and Florence Pugh was absent from the panel, and they were like, they basically excused it, saying that she was filming for Dune 2, so she couldn't be there. But it definitely seems like it was intentional, because Florence Pugh has been reluctant to promote this movie ever since it started getting teased.
All the promotional material has been the main cast except for Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Another thing.
She also didn't take any pictures with Harry Styles on the red carpet or with Olivia Wilde.
And they post Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles very far apart because they don't want you to know that those two are.
Now, just think about if the genders were reversed. If it were the 38-year-old actor and 20-something actress, or not, 38-year-old director and like 20-something actress that was actress. Dating the director.
Not actress, singer who somehow got
some
hired
random
to be
pop star
got hired to be an actor
who happens to be dating the older director. Tell me there wouldn't be a flurry of headlines about that one.
That's what I mean when I say that for somebody who keeps talking about how she's tearing down the system that is Hollywood with her lame
tear down the system that benefits you, she says.
Which is her lame B-movie type of feminist filmmaking, which is lame, while acting exactly like male directors of the past have
it's
always acted.
All they want. It's all they want.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Olivia Wilde is on major levels of copium because she's not accredited as a director yet. Her first big film, Booksmart, was a complete flop in the box office, even though it got a bunch of great reviews from critics.
Thus proving that critic reviews have absolutely no bearing
Nothing
on
to do with
it's
audience
actually
appeal.
going to do well at all anyways.
And she sees Don't Worry Darling as her big second chance at proving herself. And it's been a complete failure only because she has sabotaged it with all of her personal beef. And it should be mentioned that Florence Pugh, a woman much younger than her, who has a career much more promising than hers is right now, is doing intimate scenes with the director's boyfriend. Tell me that has nothing to do with their personal beef. It sounds so petty that I'm bringing it up, but it's undeniable. People
I love
are
that you
human.
brought it to the girl drama.
Women,
this is what
of course, this is my bread and butter, Dave.
Women supporting women is the biggest lie Hollywood has ever tried to push. I also want to point out this quote from Harry Styles on acting. I have no idea what I'm doing.
He sounded like such an idiot in the panel. Yes. Like, I was saying this earlier, the selling point of Harry Styles is that he's the younger guy and he's a himbo and he's dating this like MILF, whatever. And he's just dumb. He's not hot enough to be a himbo.
No.
He's just an uncharismatic moron.
It's also really funny too because she even if I didn't even think about I was only really talking about Olivia Wilde as a director who's sleeping with her acting
and the double standard.
But not just that, but also she did it with cheating on somebody she has kids with. She's fully maybe what it really is. She's kind of like the Theranos chick. And she's she's really leaning into. She's to beat the men. I have to act exactly like the men. So she's
grandstanding in that Variety interview about how it's so different and it's so difficult to be a mother while directing a movie.
That's my favorite part of this. Is she talks about how she's because I'm not just a director, I'm a mom, and I'm
right.
I'm okay, I want you to reverse that.
And she said, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of fathers who are directors too, but the expectations are different.
I was if you're a guy and you're a director and you've got kids, you're sending those kids off to either be with your wife, their mother, or a babysitter, or a nanny,
or all three, whatever.
If you're a woman and you're a director, You're going to either send the kids home with their dad or send them home with a nanny the same way a male director would. You're not going to
Right.
direct the movie while bouncing a baby
Now
on
that
your
would
arm.
actually be
You
cool.
douche.
But her kids are older than that. It would have actually been pretty badass if she directed a movie with a baby literally on her hip. But other than that, I don't want to hear about how hard it is, Olivia Wilde. You were dating a guy way younger than you, and then you casted him like some kind of like Harvey Weinstein situation. Now, I won't say it's inherently predatory, but I'm talking about what she preaches about as one of these feminists in
Yes,
Hollywood.
if
That's
she
what I'm
didn't-
saying. It's the double standard.
If she didn't have those beliefs, I wouldn't care. I would say that's Hollywood. The older director dates younger star. Sounds about right for Hollywood.
But if you asked Olivia Wilde
Thank
about a
you.
situation just like this where the genders are reversed, guess whose side she would be on?
yeah, well, that's the other the constant searching for victim points is hilarious. And in this, I actually when I watched the Vanity or listened to the Vanity Fair, I didn't have a whole bunch of problems with it until she got into the women in filmmaking part, when it became a humongous woe is me.
Because it's so hard as a woman to get a second chance as a director, and I'm just trying to build my reputation. This is all just pure luck.
Also, I want to point out that maybe this is. I always ask the question. I said, why the hell does Marvel hire a bunch of no-name directors to make their stuff? Maybe this is
Because of
why.
this.
Because of this garbage. Like if remember the Rings of Power, which we just talked about for 25 minutes, hired people with no freaking credits to their name to make a $1 billion franchise. Maybe they're doing that so they don't have to worry about opening the freaking articles one
Nice
day.
save.
Language.
And hear their whining director whining when you should be promoting your movie. I've heard everything about this movie except what it's about. The
Right.
only time they've ever talked about what this movie's about was in relation to Jordan frickin' Peterson of all people.
No. I also saw, in relation to what this movie is about, that it's some kind of social commentary about gender dynamics or putting a dark twist on Americana or some BS like that. And they also called the press tour for it. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube. Female Orgasm Awareness Press Junket. What does that have to do with the plot?
She also,
What does that have to do with the plot?
she pointed out, she's like, women's sexual satisfaction in movies has always been lacking because it's always been
And
about
she
the
acts
men.
like she's some kind of pioneer of representation for queer women on TV because she was a bisexual character in House or something. On the OC.
Yes, and in House she played a bisexual character, and I pointed out, I said that's not queer, that's bi. Queer is an
I mean,
ideology. but they're
whatever.
not-
All
they're
of the
not looking
labels
at it
blend
that way.
together at this
Yeah.
point.
So-
It's just she's a preachy, annoying. Like she's just a grandstander.
It would make
preachy.
it wouldn't be as annoying if she wasn't acting exactly like the male like the men that came before her. It wouldn't be as annoying, but it is. and
Like
she
you're
does.
not correcting course.
Also, I want to point out that we do have this hilarious video where.
Oh yeah.
So on
Harry
top of all
Styles
that,
appears to spit on Chris Pine's face while they're mid applause.
I think it looks like he spits in his lap. Like you see him like this
okay.
person slows it down where.
And the craziest part is Chris Pine stops clapping.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't buy that it's that what he did was actually spit, except for when he stops clapping, it looks like he's doing it because he's
Right.
like, "What the hell did you just do?"
or he pretended to. Like this, whatever happened on set is gonna be a documentary someday.
Yes. So here we go. They put it in slow motion so you can see this happen. Man.
So bizarre.
You two are on rare form today.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You're all
Here
energetic.
it comes.
And now watch him stop clapping. Like, what?
The fu- I don't know if what he did was actually spit, but I mean, it certainly looks like he's making that motion with his face. But it's like this movie's getting literally
Him
pressed.
stopping the clapping is a nail in the coffin. there.
Imagine how soft Hollywood people are that they get spat on and the guy's right next to you.
Yeah,
Like, what happened?
They are, yeah. They're so socially weird.
I would actually say that's more tribute to his like he's trying maybe
His
Chris Pine.
professionalism?
He's the only professional there who's trying to hold this sinking ship together. There are also somebody
Yeah.
points out they're like, look at them being buddy like 5 minutes later, and it's
While
the
they're
le-
awkwardly
it's
looking
the,
away from
It's
each
the
other.
least buddy thing I've ever seen.
Dude, I'd be a professional UFC fighter.
No one can read body language anymore these days.
There was literally If
Puts on his
anything,
shades.
Yeah, there was he motioned to him and he kind of ignored him. It looks like they all.
Thank you.
It looks like they all hate each other. That's what it looks like to me.
Except for Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde.
So maybe if this is a movie about people hating each other, this is actually a freaking genius.
Maybe this is the hardship that is going to split Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles.
It says, "Don't worry, darling." This is the greatest headline for a movie ever. "Don't worry, darling." Stars awkwardly, reluctantly promote film at Venice Film Festival. They won. Here's the thing. A lot of times I make comments about how nothing in Hollywood feels real because they're actually good at faking it. And they can you can never tell what's real and what's fake in the promotion. Yeah. These ones can't. They can't fake it because they seem to hate each other so much.
Yeah. And I think also people in Hollywood are less sociable or less socially adjusted and able to work out what would ordinarily be a very unremarkable workplace drama or workplace difference. And so all of them think that their say goes.
Yep. I remember when they were making Men in Black International, if anybody saw that awful rendition, the Chris Hemsworth and what's that crappy actress's name? Tessa Thompson. Man, she's awful. They were making that, and the script is so bad that Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth hired their own scriptwriters, even though they don't have final say on to do rewrites and try to push through rewrites. Yeah. So it's all self-interest, but it just makes me laugh because I as somebody who loved Olivia Wilde in House, watching her kind of implode her own career based solely on her own ego, self-importance, and vanity is kind of chef's kiss in a way.
Serves you right.
Serves you right.
Yeah.
Let's do super chats.
Okay. Dragon's Talon 1001 said, "Bad app is Elon Musk's sock puppet account." LOL.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
Wait. That makes
his side business.
Who's our other? Who's
hustle?
the other celebrity that? If not Chet, Amber Heard watching.
Yeah.
So they're probably watching it together.
Mm-hmm.
Legendary Brett Stan, Amber Heard.
Yeah, she's
It's their favorite co-parenting bonding activity.
Yeah, they're bouncing the babies on their arms. They're not directing the movie, but they're watching episodes of Pop Culture Crisis. I buy it.
Pop Culture Crisis is self-care.
I saw something earlier that said self-care is not, it's about healing, not narcissism. And I said, you're wrong.
It's about neither.
It's about narcissism.
Waffle Sensei said Rings of Power would actually be interesting if it wasn't Tolkien's world. I could get past the slow storyline if it has new ideas. But as is, I don't actually have any real desire to keep watching.
I don't even know if it needs new ideas, but just a beautiful enough scenery, mildly likable characters, and an okay story. Doesn't have to be great. Will keep a lot of people watching.
I gotta disagree.
They're approaching that.
I gotta disagree.
But not if you do it based on the work of somebody who created something much grander in scale.
The only reason anyone's watching it is Tolkien. If you
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, but his point is that if it wasn't, I'd keep watching.
But you would have never watched the first.
You wouldn't watch it from the beginning because all the marketing you would have gotten is that it's Middle Earth, but with women. You're not gonna watch that.
No. But then aren't you open to being more impressed and you're more open to being proven wrong and impressed if it's not based on something previously done?
No,
it would not have gotten nearly the same budget or marketing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So
it would have
a lot
never
of people
been,
would have never been able to give it a chance. That's the point.
Yeah.
So they find themselves caught between a rock and a hard place. You either adapt it properly and get make all the money, but don't get the diversity, equity, and inclusion brouhaha points that they need to get.
It's an industry level sickness.
Yeah, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place of the industry and the fans, and it's never going to change. Mm-hmm. It's never going to change.
Gross John said Galadriel's girl boss arc is predictable. She's going to be right about everything, and everyone will eventually have to say, we should have listened to you. Like Bronwyn and her village. Like Prey. I agree about Bronwyn.
You leave Bronwyn alone.
No. She proved that she was right to her whole village that discredited her, okay?
Well,
bringing that decapitated head.
I am not claiming to be, I'm a complicated man. Mm-hmm. One works, one doesn't. Bronwyn is more likable.
Okay, sure. They Call Me Infidel said, this sounds like a failed video game to movie adaptation like the Resident Evil ones or the recent Doom in a sense. First time catching you guys live. Mostly listen on Spotify when driving at work.
Awesome to know
I
that
always
there's
think
Spotify
listening on
listeners.
Spotify would be so difficult to follow because of like the visual aspect of like
Yeah.
the money
And
guns
once in
and
a
us
while,
showing videos of things.
once in a while, you'll be like, for the people listening on Spotify, we're showing this, and
And you're like you're forgetting that
I never do that.
A lot of people listen or watch podcasts just to have ambient noise, and so they don't feel alone when they're either doing dishes, at the gym, or working. So it makes perfect sense to either consume this on YouTube or Spotify.
Galadriel is still a girl boss arc that sucks, and Bronwyn is a girl boss arc that is mildly okay. I stand by this.
I need you to read the next few because I can't scroll there.
Waffle Sensei says, I think Elrond is the greatest sin of Rings of Power. That little snout-faced dweeb does not grow up to become the man, the legend, Hugo Weaving. Good day, sir. Well, very few people will ever grow up to be the man, the myth, the legend, Hugo Weaving.
And don't read that one from
I'm
from
not
Bad
going
App.
to. Yep. But thank you. Caper2X says, watching The Sea Beast on Netflix. Later, peeps. Well, don't leave us. Come back.
Hey.
Who does that? Come back.
Leave the tab open.
Okay, should I keep
And Shards of Narsil, and then I'm good.
Okay, so it says, Shards of Narsil says, crazy how every time woke media gets a bad review, it's because of bigotry. Literally every time. Amazing. What are the odds? And that's true. It is designed that way. You get to you get to cast diverse, you get to butcher a story and not tell it the way it's actually meant to be told, or in this case, take an author and use a rare appendices as like a base, like a map to make your generic 90s fantasy story, and then get mad at everyone when they don't like it. So it's built in, keeps them free of criticism. Same thing happens in literature now. And like, if you think that this industry is a hellscape, the YA industry is a disaster zone.
The what?
The like
Young adults.
Young adult.
Oh.
They just ruin each other's careers. They cancel each other, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what's funny is like you were supposed to be. It used to be that you had to be like in publishing or in theater. You had to have a fairly strong sense of ego because you needed to be able to stand up to criticism. They still have the ego, but don't take the criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hobbit said, if they don't want my critique, I won't watch the show.
Yep, that's fair.
Simple as.
Birth control time.
What?
You need to get like one of those little round dispensers and just.
Yeah, every time you hear Dane's alarm on the show, that's what it's for.
Yep.
Let's see. They Call Me Infidel said this Jerry Springer episode is wild.
Feels that way.
It's
doesn't it?
that level of petty drama, though,
Yep.
for people who call themselves professionals and artists.
It all
right?
made sense when you broke down the chick beef.
Yes, exactly.
For real. Because I was like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
She's psycho for even casting her boyfriend. You know that you're gonna have to watch him do sex scenes with a woman younger and hotter, and also has a
wouldn't
more
say hotter.
successful
I don't
career
think
than you.
I don't think she's hotter.
Olivia Wilde's
I think
a bit.
Olivia Wilde's still very good looking.
Won't be long. Clock's ticking.
Olivia.
I didn't say that.
Here's Olivia. Here's Olivia. Here's the wall.
Oh, wow.
And we're just
We are
we are
You never
creeping
know.
up. I mean, she's the
No,
operations.
it doesn't help that she's mean.
Yes,
You know,
your
you
personality.
could do with a little bit of a smile, Olivia Wilde.
Well, you
Whoa.
can't tell a woman to smile anymore, otherwise you get yelled at by feminists.
Just call J-Lo. She'll hook you up.
I should ask her what her opinions on
And
man-spreading.
Shakira.
Do you think she man-spreads while she's directing?
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like to channel directors before her.
yeah.
Man,
She's like, I've got the young co-star that I'm banging. Now I just gotta sit like a guy and leave my kids with a sitter I barely know, and we'll be fine.
manspreading and the toilet cover being up is the two stupid women gripes in human history.
But my favorite,
Just put it down.
Just return the card.
Just put it down.
my favorite is it says, why don't you put the toilet seat down? And it says, from a woman who leaves the counter like this, and it's just a disaster zone of the sink that's like hair stuff and products everywhere, and it's
For real.
Waffle Sensei said, look, men deeply love one another, so we hate each other in front of others. Women all hate each other, so they play nice in front of others. It's just science.
that's the meme. It says women compliment each other. ironically, and men insult each other ironically. So one's like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." I am. Yes. Oh my God, you are so beautiful. And the guy's like, "Dude, am I fat?" He says, "Dude, I know 5 fat people, and you're 4 of them." Like, guys don't actually mean it, and women don't actually mean it.
As you can see, Harry Styles and Chris Pine are not capable of that.
We're also gonna look at this.
That's because internally they're women.
Oh yeah,
we could have shown this first.
This meme is one that Chris Carr sent to me. Shout out, because it literally describes the tailspin I've been in all day.
So Florence Pugh didn't like Olivia Wilde hooking up with Harry Styles because she's friends with Olivia's husband, Jason Sudeikis. So Florence wouldn't promote the movie. Then Shia LaBeouf leaked a video of Olivia calling Florence Miss Flo, and now Harry spit on Chris Pine. But all that, and nobody knows what the hell your movie is about.
Yeah.
I
didn't know that Florence Pugh was friends with Jason Sudeikis.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that. Hobbit said, "I believe in BLM, body language matters."
Yes, it does. Well, I mean, it's also one of those things like it's hard. Like video is easier to use that as like a gauge. Anybody can capture a photo of people looking awkwardly while sitting next to each other. Yeah. Be very careful about.
But the video is telling.
Yes.
Center Conservative Mom 98 said, "My issue with Rings of Power is I can't reconcile the actors as the same characters. Maybe that will change, but not right now for me."
Yeah, they've got an uphill battle. One, because the actors that came before them,
mainly with Galadriel.
Yes, but in general, like the caliber of actor, like that came before them for the same property was so high that it's very hard to picture people with less gravitas and less star power being able to pull that off. There's always the chance that there's like a diamond in the rough there. Nori could come out looking really, really well from this. I still think Bronwyn will, but that's just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have a problem with the actor that played Durin. Durin.
I think it's a shame that Disa got way more press attention before the release.
All right.
Let's go to Kanye, baby.
Okay, Dane, are you ready?
I am, dude. I've been ready.
Okay.
I love today's show so much.
Yeah, Mary messaged me at like 11. So like, we're gonna cover Kanye. Thank me. And I was like, based.
All right. So it says, Ye brings up Pete Davidson getting tattoos of his kids' names, calls Kwanzaa bullish and more in IG posting spree. Basically, he kind of went off on all of the industry.
Can I read some of the posts?
You can read all of them. Yep,
yeah. Okay. So one of them is, "My kids going to Donda. They not going to Sierra Canyon. Charlemagne the God and Chris, get your mother effing popcorn." So Sierra Canyon is a private prep school in LA that he apparently doesn't want his kids to go to, and he feels like he is being pressured into allowing this. He doesn't want them to be in the same circles that the whole Kardashian family's in. He said they teach black kids Kwanzaa at Sierra Canyon. What the F is Kwanzaa, and who made that bull beep up? Everyone lives in LA for the check anyway, so no one really cares about their children being indoctrinated.
Feels like he has a much looser lips, make it easier for him to say the quiet part out loud, and he's far more confrontational than the rest of the industry.
Totally.
The crazy thing is like there's 5 separate beefs going on Instagram
so
right now.
Kanye and Gap, Kanye and Adidas, Kanye and Pete,
Nike,
Kanye and Nike, Kanye and Kim.
Yeah.
He even called out Daniel Cherry, who used to be like, he works for Adidas, and he used to be like a DC Comics executive.
Kanye, Kim's mom.
Yes. So one of these screenshots
Kanye, Kid Cudi
was from his text thread with Kim.
And him and was it John Legend, or not John Legend, the one dude who's like, he got mad because Kanye wanted him to vote for him for president, and the guy said no. Kanye got mad. I don't was it if it's not John Legend, Frank Ocean, maybe? I think it's John Legend.
Sure.
But like he's like, will you vote for me for president? The guy said no, and Kanye got like really mad, which I love.
As if he were even going
to
win.
Run.
Can I read my favorite one?
He did run. He did run for president.
From Kanye.
Well, technically, yeah.
Daniel Cherry Pop. I knew by the jean jacket you was wearing when we first met that we could never truly be friends.
That's so funny.
Kanye wears jean jackets all the time,
but they're faded black.
Which I have strong issues with. You should not be wearing faded black.
One of the texts that he presumably sent to Kim, who was asking him to stop, he said, "No, we need to talk in person. You don't have say-so of where our kids go to school. Why you get say-so? Because you half white?" That's out of pocket. And then she said, "From my mom, please tell him to stop mentioning my name. I'm almost 67 years old and I don't always feel great, and this stresses me to no end.
Which is the biggest bunch of BS I've ever heard, considering that like she runs like $1 billion company. She deals with stress just
of
fine.
course, she's a total villain, like cartoonish villain. So he responded, y'all don't have say-so over my black children and where they go to school. They will not do Playboy and sex tapes. Tell your Clinton friends to come get me. I'm here.
Legendary.
Crazy. He
I
said,
mean, if I was him,
He erased that one.
I wouldn't be like
he
tempting
has
fate
deleted,
with-
I think all of these, or almost all.
I mean,
Today is about control. My kids, Yeezy and Adidas, Yeezy and Gap. It's up on all 3 of these issues at the same time because it's all the same mentally that makes these people feel they can keep getting away with things.
Guys, I'm sorry, I misspoke. This is the best one.
Okay.
Ask Pete how those tattoos of my kids doing in the trauma unit.
Craziest. Like,
Big yikes.
he
That's
also, he also referred to
Yeah.
Tristan Travis Scott as cum
Tristan
donors.
Thompson and Travis and Scott Disick.
He put
as-
the phone number
and it's so
to donate sperm.
it's literally so true, and it's something that we've been pointing out, like with the Kardashians, the way that men in their family are treated, it's exactly like that.
Cattle.
They're not treated like fathers or husbands. They're treated like sperm donors.
Yep. You are allowed to have sex with me so that I can have kids, basically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He put a text from his lawyer being like, "Be off, like take it easy on like this." No, it was the Nike business
don't
for like
post
10
about
days.
They said don't post about Gap for 10 days, and then he posted it and said 10 days.
Yeah, so we'll talk to
We'll
you guys
hear
in 10
more.
days.
So another one, he said, anybody that says I'm spiraling when I express the undeniable truths is a sheep. STFU and worry about your own kids.
I think
I
the
obviously am dealing with wars at the highest levels of control and discrimination based on the level I'm operating at. A conductor gotta turn their back to the audience to direct the orchestra. Oh, yay crazy is basic as F at this point. I'm simply right. I know girls who sell beep that don't agree with how my daughters are displayed.
The thing is, he has a very chaotic approach to how he talks about things, which makes it come across far more out of pocket as one.
But
might
it's
say.
on things that you totally understand why it evokes such strong emotion. He said, I was driven crazy before. I'm not going crazy no more. It's not up to Calabasas or Hulu where my kids go to school. I'm not the crazy one here. I won't stop until I have a say-so on my kids, no matter what it legally takes.
And he's got
He
the
was also
money.
saying that he wanted his kids to be like part-time, like 50% at Donda,
Yeah.
be a little dove, and the other 50% of the time in that LA
What
school.
is Donda? Do you understand it? Because I saw a picture of it, and I really don't understand what it is.
It looks like a school where they do hella arts and crafts.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be funny or edgy or
and they
anything.
all wear Yeezy at the school.
They all have they're uniformed.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but they're wearing Yeezy shoes.
The worst
like-
thing, I mean, I think it's funny that he's calling out the Clintons. Like, that seems like a horrible
That's
idea.
crazy. Like, don't say I'm here, Kanye.
Like-
we still want music from you.
Like, yeah, like, I think, like, he needs to take that back right quick. Before.
Yeah, and also one of the posts that ended up being fake was him saying that Kim Kardashian has an insane amount of diarrhea, like not anywhere near what a normal person should have. And then it came out that was fake, but people believed it because they're like, well, with all of those diet teas she drinks,
Damn.
it's
Also,
gotta
I
be
wanna
true.
Point out that he made a comment about how porn destroyed his family
Yes,
life.
and he called
I
Hollywood
would've-
a giant brothel.
So, like I said, he's calling out Hollywood. He's calling out the Clintons.
Here's
like,
what he said.
I mean,
Don't let Chris make you do Playboy like she made Kylie and Kim do.
Damn.
Hollywood is a giant brothel. Pornography destroyed my family. I deal with the addiction. Instagram promotes it. Not gonna let it happen to North and Chicago.
yeah, it's funny. I was when I was looking into the Maitland Ward situation because she said something similar. She got mad at Terry Crews for saying that porn destroyed his life. And was like, oh, well, I do. She's like, you're just, he basically called for like I have the article here. But where he talks about how like,
He said it treats people like objects to be used rather than people to be loved.
Yeah. And
Now, whatever you think of that take, the actress Maitland Ward admitted that she had to try on lingerie for Boy Meets World producers, and it's like,
It's the
what
most
do you
Hollywood
think?
thing I've ever heard.
Damn.
What do you think you've gotten yourself into?
Yep.
You know,
And she actually believes that Maitland Ward left Hollywood to do porn and believes that porn liberated her from Hollywood, which should let you know how awful Hollywood actually
Yeah.
is if she finds porn to be the more palatable industry.
I mean, at least they're not pretending to be something.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
else.
Like at the very least, like,
Yeah.
whatever you want to say about the industry, what it does to men's brains, connections to the concept of human trafficking, they're not pretending to be good people.
Or artists
They're fulfilling a
or
need.
whatever, yeah.
Actually, I have seen things where they talk about like the
Really?
art of the industry. Like they have their
That's
own
funny.
weird like idea of like what makes a scene work and things like that. So that's the minutia of any industry is going to have weird
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But they're at the very least telling you like it is, and they're not pretending to be something they're not. She talks about it here where she gets mad because Cruz said he's not trying to ban porn outright, but though he does believe that it changes the way you think about people, it makes them objects. But if one is worse than the other, then we're screwed because Hollywood pretends to be good while not being good at all. Whereas this industry, for all you want to say about it, is bad and knows it's bad. So
right.
Kanye pointing this out, Kanye calling out the Clintons. I think he needs to get a
Called out
bodyguard.
Hollywood, major corporations. He's still on a posting spree right now on Instagram.
His beef with Gap, I thought was very interesting. Do you guys know about that one? So he has his latest project in terms of fashion is inspired from homeless people, which is hilarious
He wanted
because
to do a homeless fashion show where he hired homeless people to do the fashion show. We were
Yeah.
going to cover that on here. We ended up not doing it. Yeah, like, and there was like that fell through because of the art director and
so the concept that he wanted for this clothing line, he was going to put all the clothes in a bag, essentially where all the sizes and all the things within the brand were mixed, and he wanted people to dig through the bag as homeless people like dig through trash to find food or whatever.
Yep.
And he originally, I think he got upset because Gap was hanging things in hangers, as you know,
Clothing companies want to do.
Yeah.
And he got really so. The reason why he got upset because it effed with his vision, and that is the key theme with all his beefs when you really get down to it. So with Gap is that he wanted to do something experimental with the clothes. In that regard, they disregarded him. With Adidas, he wants creative control. I feel like they stole he said they stole a patent or an idea from him, and they were publishing it, and so he didn't have creative control, and he lost some money from it.
Yeah, he's like putting the creative director for Adidas on blast. His profile picture on Instagram is currently a headshot of the guy,
Yeah, it's
and he has a post up right now calling him out.
so all his issues pretty much can be summed up to he wants to have autonomy over the
Yes.
decisions of his life, but and a lot of ones which he's heading, because in some are creative, some are financial, and some are him being the head of a household.
Yes.
And he can't seem to get control of any part, predominantly because of his reputation.
He's like the least collaborative person to be part of like 9,000 collabs. He's
Basically,
he's
yeah.
collabing with everyone while being very, very hard to work with.
Like, if you think he's too volatile to work with, then don't start
Yeah.
the partnership. You're gonna get put on blast if you do something.
yeah, well, he's not going to handle it in a diplomatic way.
Yeah.
He's going to handle it in his way, which is very, very incendiary.
But
and like,
that's
I
the
totally,
marketing, right?
I totally understand why he would have this obsession with control, because other people have an obsession with controlling him.
Yeah.
He's a very powerful person to have on your leash and not your team, you know? But also, I saw theories that he's actually in cahoots with the Kardashians, like specifically with Kim, and that Kim and Kanye are going to get back together. And he's posting all of this because it brings more attention to the second season of the Kardashians on Hulu.
Damn, dude.
Thoughts on that?
I mean,
Are
if-
they that evil? I don't know.
I don't think he would. I don't,
Is their family strife really like genuine?
I think the strife is genuine. I think he's just handling it in the way that most celebrities don't, which is publicly.
If it is it, I mean, if any family in the world would devise such a nonsensical marketing scheme, it's them. Absolutely. Like, those people want eyes on the prize and their show. However, it's pretty personal in a lot of regards, because I've seen like a episode of the Kardashians, and
More than me.
as we stated at the beginning, like, the partners really are treated as like sperm donors. They're secondary to like the mother and the sisters and their interpersonal relationships. They barely get a say, and whenever they get a say is like, I agree with my partner on X.
Yeah. I support
Right.
blindly.
Or I disagree, but everything is like within the context of the ladies in that show.
Yeah.
So I know it's difficult. Like, I wouldn't put it past them, but a lot of it feels too real, you know?
Yeah. No, I think it's real. I don't think it's marketing.
Yeah, and I think because so many celebrities are as close as you can get to like a psychopath who is not homicidal.
Yeah.
And I say that completely seriously.
Yeah.
If you're dysfunctional in that sphere, it's because you're closer to a normal person.
Yeah.
I think maybe Kanye is that, even though he has his mental health struggles. Like, he's not a psychopath.
Yeah, they don't like him because he spills the beans on all their drama. Like, they want everything to very, very tight knit, very like wrapped up. And if they're gonna have some drama, you know, it's behind the film, massively edited with makeup and hair, and he's not about that at all. And particularly because one of the biggest things is his children. And I think the spectacle of putting his children in the limelight, as far as I understand, really didn't begin with him. It kind of came with Kim originally, and her desire to not speak about a very divisive subject on this country that we can't seem to never stop freaking talking about it. And Pete Davidson putting himself within the conversation in a very tasteless way, like through the tattoos and by very publicly fighting Kanye about, you know, leave her alone, leave the kids alone.
Trying to be some kind of savior.
Yeah, it's like,
revolting.
Tend your garden, brother. You know what I'm saying? You look like a disgusting billboard.
Yeah. Well.
All I'm saying is, like, screen any calls from the Clintons or the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Kanye, please watch out for yourself, okay? We love you.
Okay.
Dragon's Talon 1001 said, we are all here to mourn Kanye for calling out the Clintons and ended up deleting himself with 5 nails from a nail gun to the back of his head. Then miraculously threw himself off a 35-story building.
He'll come back, though. He will come back.
You can't get rid of Ye.
Nope.
They Call Me Infidel said Kanye is going scorched earth. Sounds like a good dad trying to look out for his kids, but be careful with the courts, man.
He's lucky to have the money to be able to fight in court, more than the average guy would be able to, when trying to, work out custody with his kids. I think he's in a better position than a lot of people would be to fight that battle.
Hobbit said, when is global warming going to sink California? Soon, please?
We can only hope.
I never thought it was going to sink California. I thought that the tectonic plates were going to separate California off from the rest of the country and they could just peacefully float away, so they can't move into other states and ruin them.
Did you see the thing about, there was like a meme over the weekend about like, Mexico's getting really angry at Californians moving to Mexico. Yeah, and they're like,
it's not a meme; it's true.
No, I'm saying, but they're calling it like they're calling it an invasion, and then the meme says ironic. Like that's what's happening. We need to if California could just peacefully like float out to the sea and be its own place, that's fine. I'm fine with that. If they want to go
just stop moving to Montana and Wyoming and all of the states that
Texas.
Yes, like safe havens. Lane said last year, I DGF about the Kardashians or Kanye. After watching Brett Cooper and PCC, finally we are back to Kanye and Kim beef. I don't even want the beef. I just want them to get back together.
Why, though?
I want this to be over.
I want.
It would be the ultimate
If
Odysseus moment.
If J-Lo and Ben end up back together, then Kanye and Kim need to end up
If
back together.
Kanye leaves the public eye for a while and then he teams up with like Saint or Psalm to like take back his home, and like Kim is Penelope, it's perfect. He's Odysseus, and like Saint will be Telemachus, and Kim is Penelope. He has to like take back his home.
Perfect.
Dude, this lady
from all of the suitors.
This lady
like
just
Pete.
seems so terrible. Like I don't know why you would want him to get back with her just for the kids.
But it's about what rightfully belongs to him, I think. And it's about like, you know, repeating that archetypal story in the public eye.
Do you
I
think
love
he
that.
wants to be back with her at this point?
Yes, I do.
I do.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Despite all of the things he's doing that are destructive, he's like, I still think he authentically wants to repair that marriage. He just isn't able to go about it the right way because he's so, I don't know about if volatile is the right word, but he's impulsive to a fault.
Yep.
She just
And
seems
it's because it means a lot to him.
It makes him endearing, but also it can hurt him at times when he comes off that way.
she just seems like the most important thing for her, more so than anything, is her bottom line. And
I think it's her image, not her bottom line.
I mean, one goes with the other with her, honestly. Like, her whole thing is her image. She's kind of like Trump in that way, where her whole thing is like branding her name.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Trump, can we get into Podluck? I want to get into Podluck. I want to play this clip from Brad Pitt where he has a very Trump-esque part of this speech. So we're going to get into Podluck.
From Brad Pitt?
No, from Tom Cruise.
Okay, you said Brad Pitt. I was like, what?
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is advertising for Mission Impossible, for the new Mission Impossible movie, and I truly do believe that Tom Cruise is single-handedly going to, if not
he's going to save Hollywood. Guys.
I don't think he's going to save Hollywood, but I think he is single-handedly slowing down its demise by actually making movies for everyone. You know that phrase, inclusion? He actually wants to include everyone in his movies, and we're going to watch this clip here, guys. This is freaking great.
What a guy.
So, This is Tom Cruise. Like, how do you advertise for your new movie? You just hang off a plane. This is great. Let me full
He's
screen?
60.
Yeah, dude. Well,
That's crazy,
vampires.
dude.
Well, in Scientology, you get special anti-aging.
Based.
I'm sorry for all the extra noise. As you can see, we are filming the latest
Can you go full screen?
installment of Mission Impossible. And right now we're over gorgeous Spider Canyon in stunning South Africa. And we're making this film for the big screen for audiences to see in your wonderful theaters.
Brother.
That just the first time I heard that, I got big, beautiful wall vibes when he said, "In your wonderful theaters." It's
Your big, wonderful
in your
theaters.
big IMAX, 50 feet high.
Hi, everybody. Hey, listen, I hate to interrupt, but we really got to roll. We are losing the lights, low on fuel. Oh, yeah, we got to roll, huh? Low on fuel, that's not good. I'm sorry, we got to go. Wait, did you tell them about the thing? Oh, yeah, the thing. You know, we have a first look at the Mission Impossible trailer and a very special screening of Top Gun Maverick in its entirety. So please enjoy. And hey, let's all have a great summer. And action! We'll see you at the movies.
Notice how he said, "Let's all have a great summer."
How did they do that stunt?
That's okay. I just want to point out here, guys, that a Scientologist is now the great uniter of American cinema.
Who would have thought?
Who
I
would've
just
thought?
want to say Jeff Probst in Survivor did that first.
How do you do that stunt?
I don't
Is he,
know,
like,
dude.
fastened
Thi-
to
this
the
is
plane?
yes. This is what I want to talk about. Say, whenever these actors, whether it's the Rings of Power, whether it's the Don't Worry Darling, they seem to make it about themselves in what they're going through and then try to connect it back to their project.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise makes it about the project, knowing that it will eventually make it about him.
Inadvertently, it's about Tom Cruise.
But that gives you a lot more goodwill when you seem to make it about the movies, about the spectacle. He had the thing when Maverick came out that he sat down in his chair and he told the fans, he goes, "We are so happy that you guys can watch this movie on the big screen. This is where it's meant to be seen." He comes off as a guy who just wants to make movies and just happens to be a gazillionaire, so they allow him to. I was watching an interview with Matt Damon this weekend where he talks about how he got to do the scene where he walks on the building in one of the Mission Impossible movies, and he says, "So I was talking to the stunt safety guy, right? And I told him about the scene I wanted to do, and I explained the whole scene to him, and I go this, and he goes, and the stunt safety guy goes, 'That's insane. You can't do that.' And he says, 'So I got a new stunt safety guy,' and like he just wants to. He has to put up all his own insurance to get because he's worth so much money that he has to basically pay out the make sure that the studio isn't on the hook if he dies doing something crazy. And I think he's developed a weird niche where I don't know how safe any of this stuff he's doing is, but there's something about a guy who's very, very welcoming to everybody, cares about his craft, and is just a little bit nuts, that has somehow worked to make him the last real bastion of old school filmmaking. And it paid off for them this weekend because Top Gun Maverick was the highest grossing movie at the movie theater this weekend.
This weekend.
It's
been a while since it came out.
And it beat Spider-Man No Way Home, which was re-released. And what is the number one connecting factor of both those movies? It's that they're both just movies that you go to have fun at, not to be preached at and lectured at, and have Olivia Wilde tell you that she's dismantling the patriarchy with her stupid B-movie feminist bullshit. Sorry.
And Spider-Man has a bit of that like representation stuff, but
yes,
since they don't do it on the nose, it comes off well.
Well, same with Top Gun Maverick. Has it's not like it's a cast of all just one type of person. It's very different compared to the original Top Gun. And if you look at these numbers here, what's funniest about it is it's not just the number one movie at the theaters. It was the number one movie, Top Gun Maverick, on in every conceivable platform this weekend, meaning that it also had highest pay VOD sales, highest at the theaters, all because the guy just has the intelligence to just not lecture you when he's marketing his movie.
Do you think it's even calculated in that way for him, or is it just that he actually, has integrity and he's excited about the films?
I think if I had to guess, back in the day, I would have said that it was calculated, but we also kind of tend to take that approach sometimes that celebrities are delusional and don't really understand the world around them. I think he comes from a different era in Hollywood and has so much clout built up that he doesn't have to kowtow to to how the industry has changed and progressed. He gets to make movies the way he wants to make them, which is reminiscent of an era that's long since passed.
It's definitely a combination of both, because he does have the street cred in terms of the action movies, because he is known to do his own stunts. And this guy is literally bled and broken his legs, over the stunts he does. Like every Mission Impossible movie, a quarter of its marketing is how Tom Cruise got injured in this movie.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And even if it's only the appearance of it, it seems like this guy is willing to die for his craft.
Yeah. It's legendary. And
notice what's not in any of those discussion points. There's nothing to talking about race. They're not talking about sexuality. They're not talking about the patriarchy. They're not talking about a bunch of nonsense that have their place as far as discussions in the public eye. I have no problem with that. It does not belong for billion-dollar movies or films that cost any amount of money to produce, because it's naturally divisive. You limit your audience when you make those your talking points. I'm not even saying you don't even need to include those elements in the movies. You just shouldn't market them that way.
Yeah, the marketing for Top Gun Maverick was always strong from what I remember. And I think it's because they just have more faith in him, rightly so, than they would have faith in a Rings of Power with a cast of a bunch of nobodies that's derivative of an extremely successful, by comparison, film franchise and book series. You can see from the very beginning, before something is even out, whether the people making it actually believe in it.
Yes. And when he's talking about it, he talks about the movie. He talks about the ability to make the movie, the spectacle of the movie. He doesn't talk about the messaging of the movie,
Right.
Because he understands that that's not the important
Which could
part.
have easily been inserted.
Yeah.
As I said, like, they could have made it Top Gun, but Maverick has to get, up with the times, and all the younger pilots have to teach him how things are today.
The honest trailer.
And he
for
gets
this movie is-
condescended to by all of the people that he's supposed to be teaching. That could have easily been a way to knock down that character and disrespect the first movie. But because they have faith in Tom Cruise as a star, and he is a true movie star, it didn't end up like that. And now the word of mouth for Top Gun Maverick is incredible.
Right.
It just broke number 5 of all-time highest
Wow.
grossing movies.
So it went up 2?
It just passed Black Panther. No, it went up 1. It went from 7 to 6, and then from 6 to 5. It just passed Black Panther. It is now the 5th highest grossing domestic movie of all time. All because the guy didn't tell you that you should feel bad because of the movie was made a certain way, and didn't tell you that you needed to get with the times to watch this movie.
It's beyond that. I think the same reason why I liked Top Gun is the same reason why I like Bullet Train. It's because it's a movie that allows you to suspend disbelief from beginning to end.
Well, yeah, of course. And it's not preaching a message. They didn't do that with Bullet Train either.
There was so much in Bullet Train that is absolutely absurd, like believability wise.
Yeah.
Like the train going off the tracks and everyone like comes out
At the
without a
end?
scab.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect. I didn't question it for a moment.
So it says non-woke Top Gun. I love Breitbart in their editorializing. Non-woke Top Gun Maverick. They should rename the movie Non-woke Top Gun Maverick. Shatters home video record. So it says this means that it sold more copies in its first week after its release as a digital purchase than any other movie ever.
Wow.
All because the dude told a story about an old guy flying planes.
People are surprisingly easy to please. When Hollywood learns that, you will get over your difficulties.
I am the quintessential
Make more
audience.
money.
I am the quintessential audience. I just want something I can put on in the background while I'm working.
It's like people are begging to pay for something good.
Yes,
take my money, but they're like, no.
Yeah.
My loyalty to the craft and to my social agenda is too strong.
I
I don't want your money.
The YouTuber that I reference a lot, Zach from Comics Matter, used to talk about this all the time. He goes, people want to give you their money. When people criticize if people give you critiques in the comment section, they're literally giving you free feedback that companies actually spend tons of money to acquire. They want to part with their money, but it's like these people just don't want to do that because the messaging matters more than actually making any money.
And honestly, the movie theater itself is kind of a sacred space for this culture.
I still love movie theaters.
Yeah.
As somebody who's extremely ADHD and has a very hard time sitting through stuff start to finish, going to a movie theater where the sound and the scope of the project, like of what you're looking at, forces you to be present the whole time.
Which is why I think you should see Bullet Train in theaters and not wait
Yeah.
for it to be on streaming platforms.
It's really good.
I think that's quintessential.
Some good things about the theaters. So it's a wholesome, depending on the movie, but typically it's like a wholesome thing that couples can do, children can do. You don't feel bad dropping off your kids if they're all teenagers to watch a movie. If it's a good movie and you know what they're watching, right?
Yep.
And it's one of those rare areas of congregation grow less and less. It's one of those few areas where you meet people of all walks of life and you all just go and share a moment.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yep. And he wants you to share that moment regardless of what you look like, regardless of what you believe, who you vote for. He believes in the artistry and the magic of what that craft creates, whereas everybody else seems to just want to use that craft to push something that has nothing to do with it. And I am annoyed by, if I have to choose between Olivia Wilde and Tom Cruise, I'm taking Tom Cruise every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time. She's going to hit the wall. He's going to do a stunt involving the wall. It's going to be incredible. Perfect. Do you want to talk about, I think we'll finish on Jason Momoa.
Sure.
We're going to do the Nevermind baby, the poor Nevermind baby.
Okay.
Yes. If you guys remember, a long time ago, we covered that the baby from the Nirvana album, Nevermind, sued them for distribution of child pornography. right?
CP. Let's call it CP.
Well, too late now.
instead.
But basically child exploitation, and that suit has been dismissed, sadly. This happened the same child also participated in like the 10th, 15th, and 20th anniversary editions of it, where he like reenacted the pose, only not nude in a
Like
pool.
you can't sue
Yes,
again.
after the fact. So the suit has been dismissed, so he will have to move on. And I don't know if this is something. Did you feel that this was weird from the beginning? That it just felt like a cash grab?
It's totally a cash grab, but to be fair to the guy, I wouldn't like it either if that were me.
Yeah,
who provided consent for that? Was it his parents? Like they just saw, like that. I don't know. Like that doesn't seem fair.
There was a great meme where it's just like, man, we were crazy in the 90s. We just put out albums with naked babies in it, and we were just like, it's fine, whatever.
That wouldn't happen today.
No. Well, maybe some things have changed for the better.
Well, we're actually doing a horseshoe where we were there in 1991. We went away from that, and now we're coming right back to exploiting kids.
Yep.
Dude, the
for
pendulum's gonna
entertainment
swing.
value.
The what?
The pendulum's gonna swing.
Yep.
Yeah, sadly.
So, as serious as that is, and as silly as the lawsuit is, because I do feel like just him participating in the anniversary editions kind of
That's damning.
lays cold water on the idea that he has like a claim. It's not like he felt traumatized before. But before we go, I do also want to point out that Jason Momoa has found a way to do something even less effective than the Ice Bucket Challenge for ALS. Did you see this?
Yeah, it sucks because Jason Momoa is generally not a preachy, annoying type.
Well, he cares about the ocean, and he cares a lot about this cause. And I don't
because
actually
Aquaman.
well, no, because he's from Hawaii and on the water. Like I do think that's an important thing to him. But it's just this is literally the stupidest and most unhelpful way you could ever promote something like this. It says Jason Momoa shaves off his hair to bring awareness to single-use plastic crisis. So basically, he shaved his head off and said, "Don't use plastic containers."
It's like, what does your hair have to do with
Nothing.
that?
What does dumping an ice bucket over you have to do with Lou
ALS?
Gehrig's disease? Nothing whatsoever. Nothing at all. So,
I mean, it would have made sense if, like, someone in his personal life had cancer and he's, like, doing this in solidarity with them. But, like, what does shaving your head have to do with people using too many plastic bags?
Oh, not even
Jason?
that. Like, have you ever seen, like, I saw, like, a thing where, like, you know, the video, like, it's been more than once, but, like, somebody with cancer is shaving their head before chemo, and then, like, the barber, like, shaves his head, too, in solidarity with, like, the cancer patient. Found out, like, that one of those was fake, and it was just done for publicity. Nothing we experience anymore is frickin' real.
Bruh.
So, he says,
Directed
aloha.
by Olivia Wilde.
He says, aloha, everyone, he begins before breaking into a laugh. Hand me those braids, he said to a person off screen before holding up his snipped locks for the camera. He continues, shaving my hair, doing it before breaking into a pained laugh at the close buzz, adding, "Oh man, I've never felt the wind there." So he's like shaved his head and he's never had short hair. Have you ever had short hair? How hair has your short ever been? How
hair has your short
How
ever
hair
been?
has your short ever been? How short is your hair?
That's a t-shirt.
I had it, like, shoulder length. That's the shortest it's ever been and ever will be.
So, what could be possibly less helpful towards getting plastic out of the ocean than shaving your head?
I
I'm
mean,
really trying to think of something.
he could, like, film a PSA. He could do a lot
I'm
of
sure
things.
he donates a lot of money to a lot of
Donate
causes.
your money.
It just doesn't seem relevant, and it just feels like another.
Maybe
notch
he's
in-
doing this for a role,
It
and
just
he's
feels-
just saying that it's for a cause.
I feel that him jerkishly throwing plastic into the ocean would have helped more, just because of people like reacting to him doing that than this.
Yeah, it's also funny because he's like it became just about how attractive he is. Like all the comments
I
were just
bet.
like there was like he's still a 10, so it doesn't matter. Nothing changes. Society.
It's kind of just his way of pointing out, like, I'm hot. You like my hair, don't you? Like, it's sort of a self-centered thing instead of actually pointing toward a cause.
he donates a lot of money to charity, so that's fine. Like he does his part,
I
but
don't know.
it always feels.
Him saying, I'm tired of these plastic bottles.
Listen, pleb, no plastic
We
bottles
gotta
for
stop
you.
using plastic forks. It goes into our land, into our ocean. He sounds like a himbo. We gotta stop using these plastic bottles, guys.
I
Like
know. Him and Harry Styles can like do a buddy comedy where they accidentally do everything right, but it's always like a mistake, but they always like accidentally do everything and get it right.
Dane, as the marketing guy, I think you're right. He should have used anger to mobilize people. So he could like fake a video of him polluting the ocean, and then when he gets backlash for it, be like, ha, it was fake the whole time. But if you care that much about the ocean, you shouldn't use plastic. Like, I don't know.
Absolutely, dude. He could have done that and been like, well, are you guys upset about this? Well, it happens 10,000 times a minute.
Yeah.
And if we come together and yada, 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 we can spit on Harry Styles.
Well,
or
here's
something.
the other one. It says the dramatic change to the famous meme comes just weeks after the actor was spotted handing out bottles of his water. He has his own water brand.
Oh, okay.
What
is it?
I forget what it's called up here, but I had the name up here. But basically, they're not single-use bottles, like aluminum.
Okay.
So he was
tastes like aluminum, though.
he was handing them out to passengers on a plane, and then also gave all of the passengers 10,000 airline miles. So it's like that one, like handing out bottles of your water, which is both a fantastic marketing opportunity for your product that you're selling, but it also speaks to your cause, I guess works.
I say anti-plastic because microplastics are ruining our health.
Yeah.
Not because of some phony message about the turtles.
The
By the
toys.
way, oh my gosh, I almost ran over a baby turtle on the road today.
How
It made
dare
me
you.
want to cry. But he was I noticed he was like in the middle of the road enough that I didn't have to like swerve. If I swerved, I would have gotten him. So I just like slowed down and made sure he was in the middle of my tires, but I couldn't pull over to move him. Like I would have gotten run over too. So
so you
hopefully
care
he's
more about
alive.
your own health than about the turtles.
so many people try to save baby turtles from the road by throwing them into water, but they're not
They don't swim,
supposed to swim, so they just die anyway.
Oh,
Shouldn't have said that. That's just dark.
That is just a
But,
dark way to end the show today.
What was I even saying? I don't even know.
About
I'm on one today.
yup.
What I mean on is I'm on a normal amount of sleep, so I feel like myself.
Also, I want to point out that Justin Bieber is now also going on a mental health break from his tour.
Him and Shawn Mendes are gonna go get thinly sliced cucumbers put on their eyes.
Imagine being a celebrity now and you just have enough money, you can be like, I'm having a mental health breakdown. All the time. Like, I'm
No, but I understand why they go crazy. It's just the way they react to it is so annoying.
they're allowed
I'm sorry
to
if
do
that
that
makes
now.
me lack compassion.
I made a
but
joke earlier where I said, I miss the good old days when we just worked ourselves to death.
I miss the good old days when we would just go off to war, come back traumatized,
Yeah.
and
And didn't-
amputated.
and didn't do anything about it and just lived unhappy.
That was
and-
that
and
grind set
traumatized.
Chet talks
All
about.
right. Those days are still here if you work for a nonprofit in DC. Let me
Oof.
tell you.
Dane knows from experience.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do super chats. There's some
Okay.
left there.
Francisco Sanchez Jr. said only a returned shopping cart can bring Kanye and Kim back together.
That
You
might be
can't
true.
fool me. You can't. No.
But what if it could?
Bobcat said, Mary, that stunt is easy to do. You just wear a decent rigger's belt and run a retention
Thank you.
line between your belt and the plane. It's no different than riding outside an AH-6. I have no idea what that means, but cool. Waffle Sensei said, I'd like to add that I went and saw Top Gun this weekend, so it was me. I single-handedly made this movie the top of the charts. You're welcome, America.
Thank you, Waffles. Thank
I
you.
just bought out every theater.
Hey, that was
I believe it.
That was a conspiracy. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they ever proved it, but like when Captain Marvel came out, like there was like it broke all these box office records and made like $1 billion, and people were taking pictures of like empty theaters where nobody was seeing
Right.
it. So it's like it pays Disney. It would behoove Disney to spend the money to make it seem more important than it is by buying tickets. I don't know if there was ever a way to actually prove that that's what happened, but you know.
Interesting.
I love starting false rumors.
Bad app. I'm not reading that. F off said, want to see someone's fun bags. Nominate them for ALS. That's hilarious. Seeing a nice set of bleep helps ALS.
Oh, for sure. That's what could be better.
Was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge always just a wet T-shirt contest?
Basically. now
Because
that I
that's
think
a
of
little
it.
disturbing, considering the fact that like a lot of children did it.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh.
Like that was a thing a lot of my friends did in like middle school. And I was like, what's ALS?
F-Off has a lot of unconventional wisdom. He once gave some advice about how he
Really?
gets a yeah, dude, for real. He was talking about how he has like a cook,
Yeah.
and someone does his laundry because essentially it saves him the amount of time that he would do on work, and he basically like a whole calculation about how much money he could get an hour. Go off, King, for real.
F off said, save the ocean. Donate your plastic to your nearest women's hospital.
Also, I want
What?
I want to point out that I, as a user of plastic silverware, take serious offense to this comment as somebody who doesn't use metal cutlery.
Action Man said, I'm doing my part to keep our oceans clean from plastic by burning all my garbage. Styrofoam, electronics, and plastic all into the inferno. LOL.
Perfect.
Great stuff. Dragon's Talon 1001 said, in the fashion of South Park, OMG, Mary killed Donatello. Kenny.
What makes that turtle Donatello?
I don't know. It was, you know more about
Yes.
the Ninja Turtles.
I
than
mean,
me.
we would have to. I would need to meet the turtle first before I could give it a personality type.
He
akin
might
to
be
one of the
dead by
turtles.
now.
Well, I hope not.
But just for the record, not by my doing. It would be somebody else.
I'm. So
was
you
careful.
actually you would have cried. You would have cried had that happened. I can't
Maybe.
imagine you crying for that.
Maybe. I mean, I would have felt it under the tire. So
Like,
I would like scream probably. Hobbit said, waffles truly are the best. Am I right?
this is true.
Better than what?
Better than
Well, Waffle
what?
Sensei is truly the best, but not the best food.
Best what?
Not as good as French toast. I know that.
Definitely. Why isn't there a guy in chat called French Toast Sensei?
The
Like,
fact,
for real,
the
like-
fact that you guys rate pancakes second to French toast still bothers me. Like,
Why?
it's obviously waffles second.
No,
No.
no.
It's just,
Yeah.
all right, cool, whatever. But
All
you're wrong.
Well, at least you're wrong with conviction, I say. All right, Dane. Thank you so much, my friend,
Hey, thank you guys.
for coming in on your day off. Well, not your day off, but your day not at your day not at.
Hey,
at the studio.
that's fake news.
That-
It's never off.
there are no days off, but coming into the studio on a day when you normally work remote, right?
It's cool.
Thank you. Let everyone know where they can find you, my friend.
At they fun on Twitter.
Okay, cool.
I always wait for you
Go
to
find him.
continue on after you say the part really fast, but you never do. That's all right. Mary, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram or WeChat at Closer Kitty, and whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there.
Any oh my God, now we're like $2 away from a second crisis party, and I don't want to end the show.
Are they gonna hostage party us?
I don't know. Oh wait, no, what? Wait, you got one. A super chat
Hobbit
right
said
there.
waffles, French toast, then pancakes. No, it's always French toast on top.
For real.
Regardless of pancakes and waffles, French toast always on the top of the list.
You know, I gotta say, my girl buys some like protein waffles. They're kind of based.
Oh,
They got the ones with a little wolfie on them.
yeah. I thought that was like a bear on the package.
I guess it's a bear.
Yeah, I've tried them. Not a huge fan, but it's fine.
There's some big fluffy ones.
You just nothing like frozen waffles are not going to be as good as making them yourself.
Yeah, well, yeah, but that's the point
So
about
that's
waffles.
like giving waffles a fair chance.
Mary, we got some super chats there, and I think that actually completes the. Yes, we've done it, so we can now wait and hang out while we wait for the second crisis party.
Okay.
There we go.
Bad App said Mary should scram for a day and bring back the Sassy Gay Boys 2 Electric Boogaloo plus Carter, and also Taco Bell breakfast is #1.
I've never had Taco
Me
Bell
neither.
breakfast. I was a fan of McDonald's breakfast and Burger King breakfast.
Taco Bell has the egg, the like naked egg chalupa.
What?
Like they call it that. I don't know why.
What?
But it's like egg is the shell of like it's a breakfast taco, but egg is the shell.
That's
You know,
weird.
it's like a chalupa.
Burger King has those French toast sticks.
Yeah.
And the awesome hash browns.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No,
I
I'm
don't know.
hungry.
Burger King isn't that great overall, though,
I love Burger
in terms
King.
of fast food
like-
restaurants. I think,
I like it more than McDonald's.
Top 3 fast foods.
oh, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, McDonald's maybe after that.
Interesting.
Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Burger King.
Actually, I might say Wendy's.
Wow,
third
top
for
3
me.
Burger King? That's a first.
Actually, no. Wendy's. No, actually no. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna be controversial here. I'll stick with it. I'm fine. You don't see a lot of Burger Kings around though.
Does
so.
Chipotle count?
Oh, I don't count.
No, because it's more of a like I wouldn't say Subway is fast food. It's like because you have to go.
Subway's not food at all. Didn't you see that thing where
Subway
the bread,
sucks.
where their bread
Subway
got rated,
does suck.
where their bread got rated as not bread?
I recently saw this sign that said breakfast, and then it had Subway at the bottom. Like they're advertising Subway breakfast. And I'm like, what is Subway breakfast? I don't even want to go there.
Chick-fil-A, Wendy's. No, actually, Chick-fil-A. Does Five Guys counts, right?
No.
What do you mean no?
No, that's a sit down.
Yeah.
Joint.
It's not a sit-down joint.
It's not fast food.
Well, do they have a drive-through?
Don't they?
Nope.
Oh, never mind. I'm gonna replace it. I'm gonna put Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Little Caesars.
What?
That's
no, we
disgusting.
can't.
Oh, yeah.
We can't include
Oh.
pizza in this.
Chick-fil-A.
There's a Little Caesars around here with a freaking drive-through.
Hardee's. Have you guys been to Hardee's?
Yes.
It's legit.
Oh, I
And
remember
then
that.
Wendy's.
Okay.
Hardee's in your top 3. That's crazy. I mean, Chick-fil-A's on top.
I haven't had Hardee's in a very long time.
McDonald's is good in the U.S. In Puerto Rico, it's like gutter trash.
I remember the first.
I don't know
You've
why.
mentioned, yeah.
I remember the first time I went to Spain. You could get McDonald's with beer.
What?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
They sold beer
Yeah,
at
they sell
McDonald's?
They sell beer. I don't know.
Thank
There we
you.
go.
Thank you guys. I don't know if they still do, but yeah, back in like
That's so
2010, you got your burger, which tastes like somehow healthier than a McDonald's in America burger, and then yeah, you got beer with it.
I think that's all in our imagination.
Probably. No, haven't you ever seen those things where they show you like the ingredients when the same product released in different countries and the ingredients are way different
Yeah,
in America?
actually, I think the EU has like different food regulations than the US.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Guys, why is Taco Bell breakfast so good? I keep hearing this.
That
People
seems
like
to be
the cheesy potatoes of really they're just hash brown kind of.
that sounds so good right now. I'm so hungry.
F off said Dane keep kicking booty.
Yes, Dane.
I will, my boy.
What do you say to that?
See, puppy.
Say Miles said ham or bacon and eggs.
Bacon, dude.
Bacon.
Mary.
Bacon and eggs. Compared to ham.
Ham and eggs or bacon and eggs?
Ham and bacon and eggs.
Bacon.
There we
and
go.
eggs.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
What do you think this is?
Yeah.
Dragon's Talon 1001 said waffles are a good all the time food. Pancakes only breakfast. Chicken and waffles. Chicken
Listen.
and waffles is yes, versatile all times of day.
Drunken pancakes are legendary. Like,
does
this
that
is a
mean?
fact.
Oh my god, none of us. I guess waffle.
Does
House
that
isn't
mean
fast
just
food.
eating pancakes when you're drunk, or is that like a type of pancake?
No, excellent question. Eating pancakes when you're drunk slaps because it takes all the syrup and you're pouring it all drunkly. So,
You're
you know,
pouring it all drunk.
you're pouring it all
What
drunkly.
is that? Please
Like
tell
the
me.
line.
helps bread because okay, check it out. So waffles, it can only contain what its stupid
Thank
little
you.
ridges accepts, right? Pancakes is there to take it all, and you can order chocolate chip pancakes, and you can order
You can order
blueberry
chocolate
pancakes.
chip or
They're
whatever
not
type
as
of waffle.
good, Mary.
Yes, they are.
We should just have a whole podcast talking about food, about fast food and eating out.
Yeah, because we're fat ass.
Yeah, like
That'll be great. A
I-
food review channel?
no, Brett
Bring
Cooper,
it on.
Brett Cooper did a thing where she rated fast food recently.
Look,
and, like,
if she can do it, we can do it.
she's somebody said that earlier. Somebody said they didn't care about Kanye and Kim until Brett Cooper and us. So
20 crisis parties, and we will do a food review. Any food you want.
I wonder if we
Just not bugs.
No,
Not
any
bugs.
food. Disregard any food you want. How about this? We'll 20 crisis parties,
Jams.
and you guys can recommend your top 3 fast foods, and we'll review 3 items from each, and then we'll rank them.
Now I want Little Caesars after mentioning Little Caesars. Actually, that or
I like the cheesy bread.
Or yeah, well that's what I'm saying. The Italian cheesy bread is incredible. Also,
Italian cheesy bread.
Italian.
Italian.
Now I want to go to get Chick-fil-A.
Oh wait, is Panda Express fast food?
Oh yeah. Or
Do they have a drive-through? I think if you have a drive-through, you can be considered fast food. Okay, I'll give you that.
I would put Panda Express.
It's top 3 for
you know
sure.
what? I didn't mention Sheetz. Sheetz has surprisingly good fast food.
Get out.
No, they do.
Yep.
I stand by that. They're the waffle sandwiches,
Is it top 3 though?
waffle breakfast sandwich. Bellissimo.
There's more super chats.
It might be in my top 3 if I'm getting rid of like Wendy's or McDonald's or something.
Never get rid of Wendy's. Wendy's stays there no matter
Wendy's
what.
is solid because you could get anything.
Yep.
Meh. Whatever.
This is always a conversation that keeps giving. I swear to God.
Every day we'll just do a fast food segment. I
We
should
should.
start doing it. I should start looking up for articles that have to do with fast food. Let me know in the comments if you want me
we
to
talked about the Choco Taco.
By the way,
So
we're close to another
I
crisis
don't know
party.
why. F off said never trusted Burger King after seeing the king try to push a girl off a building, peeping on her bedroom, and so much sketchy shizzle. I don't know about that.
Does anybody here remember the when Burger King got involved in the Sargon of Akkad stuff?
What?
Oh yeah, they were like, yeah, we'll sell you a
what are you
shake.
talking about?
No, it's
when,
legendary.
When Sargon of Akkad was running for office, and people did when he got milkshake,
The milkshakes.
like
yeah.
what, like
The
some
cement.
yeah, some dude running the UK like Burger King UK Twitter was like calling him out and saying like, we'll sell you a milkshake so that you can go and dump
Yeah,
it in the face
I
of this
remember
bald
that
dude. Yeah,
now.
like and they also had the campaign where they said women do belong in the kitchen, which was supposed to be a play on words, where it was like scholarships for women who wanted to get into culinary institutes.
Yeah.
And then they got huge whoever it is, it's not as good as the Steakums guy who always argues with
Or Radio Shack.
yeah, well, Radio Shack is a whole nother level.
That's a league of its own.
But who's the famous scientist guy? Not Bill Nye, the Neil deGrasse Tyson. Steakums, like the Steakums that you can buy at a grocery store, has a Twitter flame war with Neil deGrasse Tyson where they argue over science.
Have you guys ever had Steak and Shake? Sorry, I'm just
Yes,
still on
Steak
fast
and
food.
Shake's good too.
Dude, Steak and Shake is
Haven't
really
had
good.
that, but I've had Cookout. Do you like Cookout?
No, I don't know.
I guess
what
you've
it is.
never been near one. It's a southern thing, but they do really cheap, really good barbecue and like burgers, fries type stuff and shakes
Once I came over the border, I never.
and
went
hush
back.
puppies.
I also
hungry.
didn't mention Sonic, and Sonic is good too.
I've never had it.
Sonic is great.
Sheets is better than Sonic.
Do gas stations count?
It has a drive-through and it's hot food.
So drive-through is the only. It's basically the number one requisite.
Well, also not all of them have drive-throughs, but some of them do.
Some Chipotle's have fast food. I swear. Oh, there we go. Another crisis party by the legendary.
Oh,
F off.
sick.
No.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Was it?
No.
I don't
Yes.
know who did it.
Ah!
Okay.
Okay.
Hobbit said FFC fast food cast coming to your devices soon. It's
Dude,
happening.
I have no problem if we could have a whole. If I got paid to eat fast food every day, I would gluttonously allow myself to get.
You're gonna become Nikocado Avocado
That-
in front of our very eyes.
Yes, I will.
Is
I-
that the guy
No.
that eats?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah, it's the guy that eats.
there's
No, but
also.
the fat guy that eats until he it's all grossed out.
Have you ever heard the clip where the guy says, "This is a work of art. This is bullshit."
Yes,
that
I've-
clip.
I've seen
That
that.
guy does voiceover work and has a whole
which
Instagram channel is dedicated to like reviewing fast food and rating different things. He's like, "These are the 5 best pizza places of all time. These are the 5 best chips of all time." And sometimes he'll be like, "These are the 5 best chips of this year," as if it's somehow different. And like, it's freaking great. That guy's awesome.
I wonder what else we could rank.
I mean, movies. Wait.
Go figure, huh?
Huh. Bobcat said, y'all youngins need a good Waffle House. Your place to eat needs a DR plan that has FEMA stealing their notes.
We go to. I'm a Waffle House
Waffle
guy.
House stand
I like it.
here.
Here's the thing.
I have a
get the-
shirt that says Waffle House Princess.
It's not even cheap.
I do.
It's not even cheap.
that
It's
is- I don't
Guys,
know-
I'm
just
plugging
ghetto.
Waffle House official merch. I love their merch. It's actually swag.
it's
Why?
kind of like the merch version of Radio Shack. Like you don't really buy it because it's good merch. You buy it because
It's so good.
it's for the lulls. I also want to point out that I go to Waffle House and I get the burger.
Yeah, I don't like that.
oh, Brett.
Not all the time.
But it's not even cheap. You'd think
No,
that's
It
it's not.
is.
No, it isn't.
It's not.
Relatively.
You think
Not
it's
for
such
the
a ghetto ass
Not
place
for
where
the
we
size
cheap.
of the.
Ghetto.
Not for
whoa.
the size
Waffle
of
House?
Not
the
all of them.
the size of the proportions are not equal to how much you actually pay.
Hell
for
yeah,
it.
hello.
But you can double your hash browns for 50 cents.
That's
Sign
pretty
me up.
legit.
Yeah.
No, I really just I'm leaving this whole thing wanting to go get macaroni and cheese and fries from Chick-fil-A.
I still haven't made you guys my mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It's really
Ooh,
good.
I want it. Waffle Sensei said Qdoba is where it's at. It's
Qdoba
not.
is
It's
good.
not at. That.
Kudoba's great.
I don't know. F off said.
I forgot Culver's. Never mind. I'm removing whatever the hell I had number 3, and I'm adding Culver's
Is
to
Culver's
number 3.
Give me
even
the new
around?
one. Give me
Yes.
the new one.
Oh, I don't know if they have.
I don't think they're around here.
So it's Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Culver's.
What's Culver's?
Like Wendy's, but more expensive, more options, and just better.
So then why is it a number 1?
I have a soft spot for the junior bacon cheeseburger. I do.
Okay.
And
They
I-
have cheese curds and frozen custard, right?
Yeah.
That people really like.
Yep.
Haven't been there before. I don't know why I know
Oh
that.
my God, Culver's is incredible.
I feel like Subway should be considered fast food, despite the fact that
It's not food at all. Remember, it's not food.
Mm-mm.
That bread got rated not food by like
Their tuna,
by-
0%.
Taco
fish.
Bell doesn't use meat.
No, they
It's
do.
like based on soy.
They do. They have real.
No, for real.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
Sounds like fake news.
I mean, I substitute it for beans anyway. I never get the meat at Taco Bell because I think it's sussy.
It is sussy because it's soy.
F off said Lo siento no papi tu Dane. Meaning?
Look, can I see it?
It's on the screen, but you're not gonna be able to. It's right there.
Is he saying that I'm not his daddy?
Did you say that
You are not the father.
Lo siento, papi. Oh, yeah.
This is really turning into
It's
Jerry
like my
Springer
bad,
now.
dude. I don't know.
Bad App said, have you been to Kentucky Hut,
Yes.
KFC, Pizza Hut, and TB?
Yeah.
KFC Taco Bells are where it's at
Yeah.
for sure. I think at KFC Taco Bells, the Taco Bell just hits different.
Also, there
It
used
is better.
there used to be
yeah.
there used to be in where I'm from. There used to be an Arby's Sbarro, and it was the only place I'd ever seen a Sbarro not in a mall.
I love Sbarro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
They have such good pizza and such good chocolate cake.
And good garlic bread. Thank you.
F off said Poppy de Hannah Claire. Are you drinking right now? F off.
Maybe.
Darth Doza said, "Dude, welcome back, Dane. Glad you're feeling better."
Yeah, you weren't here last week.
Thanks, baby boy.
You were busy
sorely missed.
being a wimp, not here.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Waffle Sensei said, "Pancakes are for drunkards. You heard it here first. Waffles are for gentlemen with standards and self-control."
Ow.
We love you, Waffles.
No, waffles are for drunkards because you need the little cubey areas to put your pancakes because you're a degenerate. There, I said it.
Darth Doza said, "Mary, save me time and enable my laziness, please. Have you been on PCC since the start? How many episodes have you been on, if not?"
Close to 100 now.
I got on in the episode 80s range.
So over 100. Okay.
I have not been here since the start, but since the 80s, the 1980s, no. But
Yeah.
the 80s range of episodes.
We were
is
coming
when I
up on
started.
100 when you started. Yep.
Yeah, and now we're coming up on 200.
Dude, we're gonna do it. It's
So
gonna be
it's
this week.
been I've been here for over 100.
Yep. We're gonna be on 200 this week. I think Friday.
Crazy. So tell us your ideas of what we should do on the 200.
They're gonna say sassy gay boys. That's what they're gonna say.
Oh, we should.
It's so insulting. I don't know.
Why
if
not
you guys
Donda
are okay
Boys?
with that.
We're not excluding Mary. I mean, does that make her
I
one of
love
the Donda
Mary.
boys?
We could.
I guess you can be one of the Donda
That's
boys.
what Dane has always said.
No.
I always
Dragon's
put you in
telling-
the boys club.
Okay. Dragon's Telling 1001 said Jersey Mike's subs, they are the bomb.
I've never had Jersey Mike's.
Me neither.
I've heard good things about their cookies. Don't know much else. Hobbit said the new title should be fast food special.
I don't disagree.
We can do a fast food special behind the members.
Yeah, like if you really
For
want us to.
200. Yeah. F off said, "Here's another party. Have a good day, y'all."
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for
legend.
that. Dragon's Talon 1001 said Brett the Hut.
I have nothing wrong with Pizza Hut. I find it better than Domino's.
I don't like Pizza Hut. I think the pizza is too thick.
It's gross. It's too greasy.
Domino's.
And their breadsticks are just too spongy.
Breadsticks I do
I
like.
love the spongy. It's like when I buy string cheese. I'm from Minnesota, which is right by Wisconsin, which means you can get like legit, really good string cheese. And I say F that. I buy the Kraft string cheese, so it's as fake, and it's basically like eating rubber, and I love it.
Ew.
Brett Dasovic, you're an enigma.
You can't even get it into strings then.
You can, and it's just like while you're eating it, you're literally it's like you
It's
might
like
as well
dry.
You might,
Ew.
you might as well be eating just
Bruh.
like just tire.
Dude, I used
tire
to
bits on the playground.
I used to be really into the NBA, and every time there was like the finals or the semifinals, people would come to my house, and we would order. It would be like a meat lover special that came with a bunch of what's it called? You just said it, the garlic bread.
Garlic bread.
Breadsticks?
Yeah, the
Breadsticks?
breadsticks. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we would all eat it up, and then be absolutely sick by the end of it.
Sounds awesome.
F off said episode 3 of
House of the Dragon.
House of Dragons is way better than the Ring-a-Linga Ding Dong's whole season. You haven't seen the whole season yet.
But that's not an unfair guess to make, given how people are taking Lord of the Rings. But I think me and Mary will probably still review it in Podluck weekly.
Yeah. Flying
If for no other reason than we can be like a little voice of like
Voice of reason.
little voice of reason in a very polarized world.
Flying Squirrel said, had a grease burger at Culver's Saturday. No thanks.
Yes, thanks. I want Culver's now.
F off said 1800 tequila, some bud, and designing jewelry while talking crap. Y'all called me out. Good job. No, I just know when you're simping for Hannah Claire and she's not even here, you've been drinking, okay?
And there's nothing wrong
and
with
that's
that.
fine.
That's
We
fine.
don't judge you.
Nope.
And we still love you. We love the fans.
Yes.
Even when they're drinking.
Mary, did you get a chance to tell everyone where you were
I
gonna be
did.
today? Okay.
Like a million years ago, yes.
We have now been through everything. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. It has been a blast. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. For the show, we are here to talk about things, not just fast food, believe it or not, but all things pop culture, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would rather listen rather than watch. And then there's
Hobbit said, watch and review Rings of Power so I don't have to.
And we're going to keep doing that. So for the show, you can also follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.